and he looks at the woman over there. He's like, I want to fill her void. It's like, he wants to fuck her. He's talking about her vagina. This movie had toys at McDonald's, Chad. It's fucking nuts. It's horrifying. It's horrifying. I saw parents leave the theater with their kids, and I did. Of course you did. Of course. It's scary. Biting off noses and talking about filling women's voids. Hello, I just wanted to thank you for clicking on my video, and I wanted to let you know not only do I create content in my YouTube channel here, Class in a Glass, but I'm also on Twitch where I play single-player games, multiplayer games. I do movie reviews, cartoon reviews, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Also, it would be a big help if you can check out my Patreon, where you can gain access to audio commentaries, reactions, and the ability to submit questions for my podcasts and videocasts. And all that content can be found in the links below. In the meantime, enjoy the video.
Above Gotham looms its greatest hero.
But chat, let's go ahead and get into the nitty-gritty details, my scene-by-scene breakdown of Batman Returns, chat. Tim Burton's 1992 sequel to his original Batman film. Now, chat, before I go ahead and share my thoughts on this movie, talk about all the particular scenes and weirdness with some of these characters, these adaptations of these well-known characters, chat, I have to ask you a very important question. That question being, how many of you have seen Tim Burton's 1992 sequel, Batman Returns, chat? I'm very curious. Very curious. I know we had a lot. I think most people yesterday had seen 89. I think maybe only one person said I've seen clips of it or a lot of it, but not fully. But I'm curious about this one. Very curious about this one. I have Batman Returns on VHS. Oh, wow. Watch it. And I released it within the last year. Cool. On VHS, too. The dark side, I saw this used to play on my local Fox TV channel. Yeah, this was definitely always on various TV channels, TBS, TNT, all that. Yeah, I remember that back in the day. Austin says, yes, recently, boss. It's funny because I know someone who theorized that Craven was going to be in the third film to hunt down. I said that was the one that would. I was one of those people that's a perfect way to transition to the third movie. I was hoping for that, but that wasn't the case. Cat's not for a very long time. Lisa says, me, RD, me. Glee, been a long time. Don't remember much about it. Oh, I'll remind you. I will go ahead and I will tell you the tale of Batman Returns. I have a perfect memory of this movie. I will not exaggerate any of the details. Austin was recently like last Friday. Oh, there you go. What happened? Good to see you. McDonald's BDSM toys. That's right. They had a fucking child's toy of the penguin, Chad. No child should get a penguin toy, Chad. Not Danny DeVito's penguin. He'll blow the erogenous zone sky high. The sexes are equal to him. Holy shit. 13, I have A Lost Miracle. Me. Blackstone, I saw 1989 and Returns at the theater. Whoa. That's awesome. Back in the day and a few times since. Very nice. Wow. I don't know what was that experience like, man? So maybe, yes, I have. Chris Ayers, I tried watching it when I was 6 or 7, but got so scared by the Catwoman resurrection scene. I remember my bedroom screaming in the bathroom and refused to come out until my mom took out the tape. Didn't see it all the way through until Dark Knight Rises was about to come out. This is, this movie, if you have young kids, it's goofy now, but there's some disturbing shit in it. It's very violent for children. And I can see why Warner Brothers reacted. I'll get into the details, but I understand why Warner Brothers reacted the way they did to this movie and went, fuck, we can't do this again. We can't make the next Batman movie like that. And that's when we get Forever. Like, I don't like Forever. I think Returns is a better film than Forever. But at the same time, I understand why they made the decision that they made. I get it. Plus, here says, hell yeah, brother. Axel saw in the theater. I was kind of disappointed in it. I didn't like as much as the original. It's back and forth. I hear a lot of people say that. But I also, there's been a crop of people I've met, with my life the last 5 or so years to say, oh, it's their favorite Batman movie, or they like it better than the original one. So yeah, I prefer the original one. So I'm more like you, but I think there is stuff to appreciate about it. Because of the fact that I like this movie as a kid probably made my dad worry a bit. He just love all the Tim Burton gothic architecture and the tone, the music. There is good stuff in this movie. There is. And as weird as their performances are, there is a charm to Danny DeVito's Penguin, a gross, disgusting, ooze-filled, fish-eating, lustful charm, and a very sultry, cat punny charm to Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman. Then there is. Not so much for Selena Kyle, though, especially in the beginning of the film. They do this fucking thing with Cat. I don't know why studios do this thing with Catwoman for so long, that they make her so mousy and so self-conscious and with such a lack of self-esteem. I'm like, why? I guess maybe to show like how much he changes in the film. But it's so weird that they always do. They did that to Michelle Pfeiffer's Selena Kyle, and they also did that to, I was gonna say Halle Berry's Selena Kyle, but I guess whatever her character, Patience Virtue or whatever her name was, the same thing. It's like, why do they keep doing that? That's very weird. That's very weird. Forever Was Lame Returns is awesome. Glee. Lo, they did that with Cheetah, and they did that too. You're right. Holy shit. Yeah. What the fuck is that? With female fictional characters when they take on a cat persona. That is so weird. Baby GG, I fell over head over heels for Michelle. A lot of people did in this movie. And the more I saw it, as I go, I mean, no, listen. I mean, she's a fucking knockout. She's a bombshell. She looks amazing in the costume. There's no doubt. I mean, fucking Tim Burton knows how to showcase her body. You know, she's very sexualized in this film, but to be fair, Catwoman is a very sexual, sultry character. I mean, that's who she is, and she uses that to her advantage. Uses that to manipulate individuals, mostly men, to get out of certain situations and things, and to woo Batman. Batman has a weakness in this film, and I'll tell you what it is, Chad. It's like, oh, shit, that's his weakness. It's like, what's his weakness, Chad? This is the death of his parents, the childhood trauma, you know, his experience with the Joker. What's his weakness? Like, no, you find out what it is. It's like, there it is. And she's like 63, I think. Right now? Yeah, probably. And she's back and doing the comic movies. She was in Ant-Man the Wasp. She made a little cameo in Endgame, Chad. I imagine she's going to be in Quantumania, too. Hope she gets more to do. I like Michelle Pfeiffer, Chad. It'll be fun. Although she wasn't originally the first person cast as Selena Kyle. They were actually, I think Burton had cast Annette Bening, but she became pregnant, and they had to replace her, and that's when Michelle Pfeiffer came in. So that was the big thing with that. And, you know, like a lot of you guys, I have also seen this movie. I saw this around pretty close around the same time I saw Batman 89, which was in the mid to late 90s at the time. I think it might have been just before like Batman and Robin was about to come out. And I was, you know, I'd already started absorbing the Batman property, Chat, via Batman Made series, of course. And I saw Batman 89. I loved it. And I saw Batman Returns. I remember liking it as a kid. I was definitely, like a lot of you guys mentioned, a little freaked out by certain scenes. I was very young, and I'm like, I probably shouldn't be watching this. And there was stuff that, Jason, good to see you, hope you're doing well. Thank you for the 10, but he's high. Talking about my experience with Batman Returns. And I remember watching the movie, and I'm like, I don't understand, like, certain references that they're making. Like, I think I was watching with my parents or something, and my parents are going like, Jesus. And then you're just a little kid, and you don't know what an erogenous zone is, or, you know, what does he mean by he wants to fill her void? What's the void, Mom? And she's like, we're not ready for this conversation. There is so much sexual innuendo and lust and grossness and violence. And the movie does have a bit of mean-spiritedness to it, especially in like certain character deaths. Like, you didn't have to fucking do that. Like, it's weird. It's a weird movie. Batman's weakness is the pussy. Well, it's a particular kind. The pussycat, if you will. He's a selfish lover, though, Chad. He won't do certain things. Thank you for another 5 minutes. Mommy, what's the pussy he's talking about? Just the pussy I was looking for. And, you know, clearly parents had an adverse reaction when this came out. Because, like, I'm going to take my kid to a Batman movie and go, oh, my God, why is Danny DeVito basically, you know, jerking off every scene and biting off noses? Like, again, the movie when it came out, it was a commercial success, not nearly as much as the original one. I think it made like $200 million less. And even Warner Bros. Were like, fuck, we made only about half as much as we did. I mean, they still made a profit, of course. The film was critically pretty well received at the time. I think it was even better received than maybe even the original. And a lot of people praised the production, you know, the set design, the production design, the costumes, much like the original film. I mean, as I said, I absolutely adore the aesthetic of this movie. I love it. I talked about this in the audio video commentary, but I love Gotham in winter. There's just something about that. The snow and the ice on all the Gothic architecture that like we saw in the original film. There's just something about that and I've always liked Batman movies that take place in the winter episodes. It's really cool aesthetic to me. And it just adds to it. It almost makes it adds to the darkness and the miserableness of this place and increases the threat level to a certain extent. If I ever make a Batman movie, I'm absolutely going to set it in winter. I want to set it in winter. I know that Dark Knight Rises, part of it takes place in winter, but there was barely any fucking snow on the ground. I wanted more. And so I really like the aesthetic here. Keaton he's still killing it. I misremembered, chat. You know, I thought he gets more to do in this movie. You know what it is? His Batman gets more to do, but his Bruce Wayne does not. His Bruce Wayne, it's shocking. You have one Bruce Wayne scene in the first 5 minutes, and then it's 30 minutes later until he gets his next scene. It's fucking bonkers. I'm like, oh my God, because Tim Burton, who again got carte blanche to do whatever he wanted, he loves to focus on the villains. Like Oswald Cobblepot and Catwoman have more screen time than Batman, which is fucking nuts. And that's one of the big flaws of this film. And because he loves to indulge in the morose, in the grotesques, if you will, the freaks, Batman definitely gets neglected. Not that Michael Keaton doesn't have a few good lines. He does, and some bad lines in the movie as well. The dialogue is all over the place. It goes from being like, I fucking love this, to like, oh God, please stop talking. Christopher Walken, I love him as Max Schreck, who's a villain created for the movie, who is, I mean, he's dressed like a comic book villain. He's in a pinstripe suit. He's got Einstein hair. His eyebrows are made extra bushy and things. And his evil plot is that he wants to create a power plant that doesn't give electricity to Gotham. It sucks the electricity out of Gotham for some reason. And he is so over the top and ridiculous. And every line he's given, it doesn't fit, but he's doing that Christopher Walken thing when he's talking, and you can't help but listen because his cadence is so unusual. And I'm like, I'll go with it. So many weird scenes. And Dan DeVito, of course, is just fucking gross throughout the entire film. You sympathize him for a little while, chat, but by the end of the movie, it's like, you need to die. You are gross, sir. So it's a mixed bag of a film. I don't think I like it as much as the original film, but there's definitely stuff to like about it. And this movie was a product of, thank you so much, Luke Dawson, for the bidding. And I dressed like a Tim Burton drawing. I mean, he did. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. It's like a Tim Burton sketch. Crazy Brownie, thank you so much for resubscribing. The winner would be him. Thank you for your Prime subscription. Chat, that's amazing. Thank you. You only get one of those a month. The fact you use it on my channel, it means a lot to me. If you happen to have an Amazon Prime, chat, you do get a Prime, and you could use it for a particular Twitch streamer. Could be me, could be Double Toasted, whichever you prefer, chat, but it is appreciated, of course. Thank you, Crazy Brownie. There were various versions of this film out there they were working on for years, different scripts. As I mentioned before, they had one where it was supposed to be more about Penguin and Catwoman teaming up to find this secret treasure in Gotham City. It was supposed to explore the history of the city, and they had to like steal these statues, and then Batman got involved, and it would delve more of the Waynes and the Cobblepots feud and things, and Cat would have been the wild card. It was kind of like a more straightforward version. But Tim Burton said, fuck that. I want the Penguin to kidnap the firstborn children of Gotham's elite and drown them in a sewer. And it's like, okay, we're going with that one. Let's go ahead and do it. But overall, chat, it's a mixed bag movie, but I can't help but still like it. I still like it despite its flaws. And it has many flaws, chat. But we need to start, chat. How do you start a Batman movie? Well, obviously with Batman, according to Tim Burton, no, you don't do that, chat. We start 33 years ago, chat, so we learn that the Penguin is 33 years old. And so is he like sewer Penguin Jesus? Is that the allegory that Tim Burton's trying to say with the Penguin? Is this like my Antichrist? I don't know. I assume so, because the 33 years, every time I see that, because, you know, Jesus famously died when he was 33 years old, was nailed to the cross, and he came back, he rose again. So is Penguin his Jesus? I assume so, chat. Might as well be. He's trash, man. He's the trash Jesus, chat. But we are at the Cobblepot estate, chat, this huge mansion, where we see Paul Rubens, chat. He is Tucker Cobblepot. I didn't know his name was Tucker. That's his name on the gravestone. But it's funny because Tim Burton, he cast his friend Paul Rubens, who, of course, plays Pee-wee. He played Pee-wee in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Tim Burton's first big break. That was his first movie. And he also casts the waitress that Pee-wee talks to in that film as Tucker Cobblepot's wife, chat. So it's almost like an Elseworlds, if you will. What if Pee-wee and the waitress that are in remember the dinosaur head? The dinosaur head? What if they got together, became infinitely wealthy, and they had a penguin abomination baby? That's like an Elseworld shit. I mean, it's all connected. This is in the multiverse now, as we know. So this is connected to Batman v Superman, the Suicide Squad. It's fucking nuts. But he's out there smoking. He's got like that little cigarette stick that he's smoking out of, while his wife is front pooping out a penguin-human hybrid abomination. And I can only imagine, Chad, there must have been a lot of ripping and tearing as she was pooping that out. And eventually, he hears a wah, wah, wah. The baby was born. The penguin was born, Chad. And then the nurse just comes out running, vomit all down her dress, chat. She just was so grossed out what just came out of Mrs. Cobblepot. We see this doctor who's like patting his head. He's so sweaty. He's just fucking knocking back drinks. And Paul Rubens, he looks at the doctor, he looks at the nurse with the vomit over it, he goes in the room, and all we hear is, because he obviously saw the thing that came out of his wife, chat, which was Danny DeVito, which, I mean, that would freak anybody out if your wife just gave birth to Danny DeVito. I mean, I love him, chat, but if my wife gave birth to, I'll be like, what the fuck happened? What happened in you? Luke Moss, thank you for the 5 days. Well, the penguin from the original Adam West series was almost Tucker, but his health is, oh, that's the reference. Look at that. It's a little reference, man. Thank you. Thank you for the 5 biddies. And then we cut, and it's however many weeks or months later. I guess it's not too far off, and we see Paul Rubens and the waitress from Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and they're just fucking drinking martinis, looking out into the snow, and they look behind them because we hear the and then we see that they've built this cage crib, completely black, with bars on it, and they've locked little Oswald, little penguin inside. The cat, they have this white cat that gets far too close to the bars, and he fucking grabs it and pulls it through, and he either eats it, he definitely kills it, strangles it, and I imagine also ate it. His first words, "I'm the trash man." Of course, we'll say that later on. I'm telling you, this is like Always Sunny in Philadelphia is a prequel to Batman Returns, chat, when Frank takes on the persona of the Penguin. It's all leading up to this. There's a lot of Penguin in Danny DeVito's Frank. You realize, like, yeah, because he's gross, he's leaking everywhere, he has all these schemes, he has this wealth somehow. It's like, oh, that makes sense. You're a Cobblepot. You're not a Reynolds. You're a Cobblepot. And so there watches this cat is eaten, and which is this like a little references to what's gonna happen later in the film when like the Penguin and Catwoman work together, but he betrays her. Is this a little I think this is a little foreshadowing, chat. It's a little foreshadowing, if you will. But Paul Rubens and the waitress, they look at each other and like, hey, let's kill our kid. And they're like, fuck yeah, let's do it. And they drink. And then we cut, and we're in the Gotham Park. I don't know why you're fucking taking your kid in a stroller for a walk. There's like multiple parents doing this. It's the dead of winter in Gotham. It's like negative 15 degrees outside of wind chill. It's like, what the hell are you doing? But they're passing by all these couples. They're going, hi, how you doing? They're going, yeah, it's good to see you. Because they don't want to associate with the pores of Gotham City. But even their baby carriage is like all black and evil looking. It's ridiculous. TK, hey man, hope you're doing well. I am doing well, TK. Absolute pleasure to have you here. Just talking about the murder that Tucker Cobblepot and his wife, Mrs. Cobblepot, are about to commit upon their Danny DeVito abomination child. And so they get over to this bridge, and there's the Gotham River below, and they just yeet the basket into the river, and he becomes Moses. A lot of biblical allegories in this movie, chat. It's like, it's 33 years ago, he's Jesus, and then he set down the river, chat. And then it's like, okay, that was the little story, his origin. Like, now we can cut to modern day. No, we then follow this basket for about 5 minutes as it goes throughout the sewer of Gotham City. And I'm like, this intro is not as interesting to me as the original intro to the first movie, where we're in this like this labyrinth, this Leviathan-sized tunnel, and we're going around these curves and everything. And I was like, what is this? It was just kind of a mystery, and we realized as we pan out, oh, it's the bat symbol. That's where we were inside of. Here we're just following Penguin Moses as he's floating through the sewer, and you think that sounds fucking awesome. It really isn't. It's kind of it takes a while, but eventually. It's also fun because he goes down like a little waterfall, and the baby goes, it goes down a waterfall. And I guess the Gotham sewer system leads into the Gotham City equivalent of SeaWorld, which is called Arctic World. And the sewer is somehow connected to the penguin enclosure. It's weird. And so the basket... The basket washes up onto this little like concrete, stage, and these penguins just waddle forward, and they're like, "He shall be raised as one of us." And it's like, are you basically saying that like the penguins are the Egyptians? Tim Burton, what are you doing? I'm very confused. And so at this point, it's like, so was the penguin raised by penguins, like literal penguins? Because they seem to love him. They seem to be very intelligent. I mean, they're also like, they'll die for him too. They'll be used as weapons of war. But then you learn later on that he was raised by circus people. But then Arctic World is already abandoned. It's not made clear. So maybe for part of his life, he was raised as a penguin. And then the other part, he was raised by circus people. I do not know. But we cut from the penguins opening up the basket. The penguins are obviously like either animatronic or people in suits because they waddle like this. They actually use real penguins in the movie, and that's kind of like fun and cool. But you can spot the fake ones very easily. Soldier Blue, thank you for gifting us up to Hamilton Burger. Appreciate that. But then, chat, we cut 33 years later, okay? But it's like, oh shit, he literally is Jesus. He's sewer, Danny DeVito, Jesus. And we are in the middle of Gotham Square, Chet, or Gotham Plaza, and you better like this set because we are going to be here throughout the entire movie. You thought that Gotham City was small in the last film. Every outside scene is shot right here. It's like in this one, in the original one, you had the Monarch Theater, you had City Hall, and you had Carl Grissom's apartment / Joker's apartment. Here, you have Max Schreck's sporting goods variety store. You have the Christmas tree with the Ice Princess and Selena Kyle's apartment. That's about it. That's all that's in Gotham Plaza. You're going to spend a lot of time here. And it's going to be the annual tree lighting ceremony to celebrate. I think this takes place supposedly like a year after the events of the first film because there's only one reference to the Joker, which I wish they would have referenced him more because he was, obviously it was a traumatic experience for Gotham. But other characters they don't bring back, like Billy Dee Williams' Harvey Dent is not mentioned, even though he should be here, I would think. The mayor is a new mayor too, which I understand that. I mean, obviously he lost the election because of all the shenanigans with the Joker. That makes sense. But, they're going to have the tree lighting ceremony, and Alfred's doing some Christmas shopping. He's doing his thing. He's walking around. I don't know who he's buying gifts for, though. I don't think, how can you buy anything for the man who has everything, Chad? How's that possible? Maybe he's doing, like, charity work or something, which makes sense. Alfred, I think, gets less to do in this. He becomes a DJ, though, which is pretty cool. But he steps off the curb where the fucking Danny DeVito he's in the sewer, and he's always like looking out like, and Alfred steps off the curb because he hears and he turns around and is like, what the fuck was that? But whatever it was disappears into the sewer, chat. And we see like a ton of we don't see the penguin yet. It takes a little while, so we always see him in shadow, or he's in the lighting in the movie. I will say the lighting is exceptional. Like a lot of the technical aspects of this film, again, I admire the production design, the set design, the costumes. They're very fun. They're very imaginative, Chad, which of course they should be. That's Tim Burton's passion. But we do see him in shadow, and he looks fucking gross. He's got that, he's waddle. He's got that onesie on, and it's just covered in grease and just his sweat, and I imagine copious amounts of jism. Penguin jism, chat. It's gross. Luke the Boss, the good he is buying gifts for his niece Barbara overseas. Oh, that makes sense, Luke the Boss. That makes sense. I get it. And Methos is going to follow you, Ryan Huckleberry. Welcome to stream. But he steps off the curb, and he's like, I don't know what the fuck that was. That was a little weird. But we transition, chat, and we go to the business market. I guess it's tower slash supermarket of Max Shrek, chat, and he owns it's Max Shrek Goods or whatever. And it's weird because his sigil for his company is this giant smiling cat. I don't know if it's like Felix the Cat or something like that. That famous black and white cat. I think it's supposed to be like mocking Disney in a way. And we go inside because we at the top of the tower, it's where he's having his meeting. And it's like this huge glass canopy. We go inside where he's having, we see the new mayor. And we see some other public officials, and they're in this meeting because they want to oppose Max Shrek's new power plant. They're like, we don't really see the point of having this. It doesn't really make any sense for the city. And then we see Christopher Walken, who is fucking ridiculous in this film. Again, he's always in pinstripe suits, big over-the-top like bow ties. He has this Einstein mad scientist hair. Eyebrows are extra like poofy and fluffed. And he's like, but Mr. Mayor, I have to tell you, this power plant could be so good for Gotham City. And he's like, but Mr. Shrek, we don't need another power plant. Gotham City has excess power, which I don't understand that either. And he's like, there's nothing wrong with more power. I mean, this power plant will be my legacy. It'll be something that I'll be able to leave for Chip, and he'll shepherd Gotham into a new age. And by the way, Chip, who comes into the meeting, he has the same voice as Christopher Walken. Where he's like, Dad, the masses, they await you, Chip, my boy. Now, Max Shrek's a piece of fucking shit, but he loves his son. That's the one thing I can say in this movie. Like, he's a murderer. He wants to steal from the people of Gotham. I mean, everything under the sun. He's done something shitty, chap. But the one positive thing about him is that he really does love his son, Chip. Because he's a chip off the old block. Really he is, because he sounds just like his dad. And then Selena Kyle comes in, and I'm sorry, but I really dislike how Selena Kyle's handled initially in this, because for whatever reason, I don't know why filmmakers do this, or Warner Brothers or DC, when they adapt Catwoman in the live action, at least initially, they love to make her super mousy, super, like, unsure of herself. She's self-conscious. She has no, thank you, actually, the two babies. The Walker Manners are genetic. They are, man. They pass down strong genes. She has no self-esteem, Chad. She's a lack of self-esteem. And she's like, because at one point, like, they're talking, and she's like, I would like to share my opinion because I've been doing research for Mr. Shrek. She has these glasses she's always touching. It's like, I've been doing this, because if you have glasses, you're a fucking nerd unless you're Batman. I've been doing the research and about the power plant. And he's like, Selena, why are you talking? You are a woman, and a woman should be seen but not heard. And it's like, okay, we're being sexist already. Great. Fantastic. And he's like, I need to go and give my speech, Selena. And she's like, okay, I'm sorry for bothering everyone. Sorry for being a woman. I will keep my mouth and my vagina closed. And he's like, good. And so they go outside, where, again, we see Danny DeVito in the sewers going, yes, my plan is forming. Eventually, they all get on the stage, and the mayor basically tells Max Shrek, listen, I don't want the power plant in Gotham. We don't need it. And he's like, well, Mr. Mayor, you might not be mayor for long. He's like, are you threatening me? He's like, no, you just never know. Recalls, new elections, whatever. He's like, you don't understand how government is run, do you, Mr. Shrek? He's like, it doesn't matter. You buy the politicians, Mr. Mayor, like how I bought you. It's like, oh, shit. But he gets up there, and there are now less people in Gotham City. Before, there's about a population of 200, I would say. Now there's about 150. And it looks to be maybe 75 people have gathered in the middle of Gotham City for the annual tree lighting ceremony, chap, because everyone thinks it's fucking lame. We have the Ice Princess up there. She's looking nice. What they do to that poor actress who plays that character, that's a goddamn shame. Goddamn shame, Chet. Steph, good to see you. Open your mouth and vagina. Max Shrek wants them both closed. Hope you're doing well. He gets up to the podium, and he's, like, patting himself, and Chip's like, Dad, what's wrong? He's like, my speech. That Secretary Selena, she was supposed to put it in my jacket pocket right here, but I don't have it. Remind me later to fire her. It's no problem, Dad, no problem. And then he gets up there on the podium, and he just fucking wings it, chat. Because I think the person who introduces him is the mayor, and he's like, Gotham City's own Santa Claus, Max Shrek. And Max Shrek, everyone's like, yeah, Everyone loves Max Shrek. He's the new Bruce Wayne, if you will, chat. He's kind of like the working Joes. He's the blue collar Bruce Wayne because he's not old money, he's new money and things. But he did in order to achieve what he has achieved, he literally killed the competition, and he's done all these nasty backroom deals and exploit a lot of people. He's a piece of shit. He's a piece of shit, chat. He's the worst of capitalism, if you will, and. He gets up on the stage and he's like, Santa Claus, no, not really. I'm just a poor lucky schmo like so many of the people of Gotham. And they're like, woo, we fucking love you, Max Shrek. I love you too, random person who said my name. Woo, I'm the random guy. And he's like, I want to bring Gotham into a better era for everyone. It's fine, you know? And if I can build my power plant, and Mayor's like, I don't want to. No, don't tell them that. Then we can do that. It's like, yeah, power plant. They're really excited about that power plant, chat. But there's something about the power plant that they don't know about yet, chat. But we shall soon learn what it is. But then we cut to the sewer. Everyone's like, yeah, Max Shrek. But then we cut to the sewer where Danny DeVito's like, you won't get what you want, Max. No one gets what they want, even me. Ugh. And then we cut. And there is this giant fucking present being pushed onto the streets of Gotham City. And no one's like, what the fuck is this? And everyone on the podium, they notice this present that is right in front of them. It's right across the street. And, the mayor's like, Shrek, is that one of yours? And he's like, it's not mine. I don't know what it is. And then boom, it explodes. And out pops all these circus people. Now, it's weird because Penguin's thugs are all like clowns and stuff, but it's like, shouldn't these guys be like Joker thugs? Wouldn't it make more sense? The Joker has thugs that are dressed up literally as clowns and circus people. That'd be more of aesthetic. So the fact they got Penguin's thugs to be that way, it's a little weird. It's a little weird to me. I mean, I understand that he was raised by circus people to a degree, I guess, and he took over the Red Triangle Circus, as it was called. But this is the Red Triangle Circus gang, Chad, who've been plaguing Gotham for the last year after the death of the Joker. Because there was a power vacuum when he died, you assume, and they've been kind of running shop over everybody. And they just start causing fucking chaos, chat. They're like, oh my God, what the hell are we gonna do? We have to get out of here. They all start running off the podium. They all the Red Triangle gang members just start harassing citizens, shooting them, throwing them through shops and things, breaking glass, all that good stuff. Eventually, they get to the stage. And they're like, we want Shrek. And Chip is like, no, don't. And he's like, not you, your dad. We need him. And Chip has one of my favorite lines in the movie. He goes, Dad, get out of here. Save yourself. And fucking Max Shrek runs away. He's like, all right, son, you got this. He fucking gets his keister out of there, Chad. Eventually, we cut. More of the Penguin's thugs are on motorcycles now. They're throwing Molotov cocktails, people setting babies on fire. It's like, Jesus Christ. Eventually, they're slamming into this one cop car. We see Pat Hingle's Commissioner Gordon, and he's like, oh my God, it's the Red Triangle gang. We've lost control. Get the bat signal on. We need Batman. And then we cut to, they turn the signal on. It's shining in the sky. We then cut to Wayne Manor, chat, where, okay, Batman, Bruce Wayne, he's in the movie. He's finally gets a scene, chat, 10 minutes in, and he's literally just in his house, in a chair, in the middle of in his giant, lavish living room, just brooding. Fucking chin on his hand, looking into the middle distance, and just brooding. And then we see and I'm like, okay, this is the first big issue. I mean, well, I already have a lot of issues so far, especially of Christopher Walken's character of Max Shrek. But on the outside of his house, he has these giant industrial-sized mirrors that are somehow able to reflect the bat signal in the sky, and they start pointing at at each other until then it projects inside of Bruce Wayne's living room. And listen, it's so fucking cool when when it shines on him, he stands up like that, and the signals in the background, and he's like this in the foreground, and we cut. There's that wide shot, this huge fucking wide shot where we see the signal projected on him, and it's like visually that's great, but logically, it makes no sense. If I was, an inquisitive person, maybe working for the Gotham Gazette, which I know they don't have the best reporters. Alexander Knox, Vicky Vale is great examples of shitty reporters. I'd be like, why does Bruce Wayne have giant industrial-sized mirrors with the bat symbol on it? I think he's Batman, but as we know, no one knows who fucking Bruce Wayne is, aside from a select few amount of people. And so no one noticed this, and he's like, well, I fucking gotta suit up right now. And he suits up, he gets in the Batmobile, he arrives in Gotham Plaza, chat, and he begins murdering everyone he comes across. I mean, it's like, Jesus. The Batmobile has random gadgets. It has these kind of like industrial metallic batons that stick out of the wheels, trips over people, crushes them. There's this one guy who he hits, who has like this, he's this flame spitter, chat, where he blows flame at the Batmobile. Batman just activates this turntable system that literally just puts itself on the ground, lifts the Batmobile, turns around, and he just blows his Batmobile engine into the guy until he sets him on fire, and he dies a horrific death. Batman's body, he's probably killed at least 10 people in the movie so far. It's fun to watch, Casino. It's fun visually, but my lord, this Batman has no rules. Eventually, we cut to Selina because she is cleaning up in Max Shreck's tower, and she realizes, like, oh shit, I have the speech right here. I gotta put it in his pocket. Maybe I can get back down there before he does the speech. Not knowing of the chaos on the streets, she gets down there, chat, and everything's going crazy. She's like, oh my fucking god, there's like everyone dying and shit. And then this one clown guy grabs her, and he's like, come here, honey. And he's like, get away from me. Batman, he gets out of the Batmobile awkwardly, like, shit. And it's just as awkward as ever. Look, like in 2 days. He lights him on fucking fire. Remember seeing a kid thinking, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I know. Burns him alive. He burns him alive. Michael Keaton awkwardly gets out of the Batmobile, and he sees that the clown thug has Selina Kyle in a headlock. And he has like a taser, and he's like, if you fucking come over here, I'll fucking tase her. I'll tase her to death, Batman. And I will say, there's this amazing shot of Michael Keaton look at the guy like this, and just the silhouette, and again, the lighting and the shadows. It's awesome. It's awesome how he's just not giving a fuck. And he takes out his grapple hook, and he shoots it. He shoots it, it goes right behind the guy, and the guy looks behind him, he goes, ha, you missed! And Batman literally pulls out a huge chunk of concrete and fucking bludgeons the back of the guy's skull until he dies. And just came out, he falls down dead. And Michelle Pfeiffer's like, oh my god, Batman, you're the Batman. Or is it just Batman? Are we like on a first name basis kind of thing? I mean, it's saving a girl like me. I'm just such a klutz, and I'm not used to these kind of things. Little self-conscious, And he's just like, are you a real person? He just looks at her and just walks away. And she's like, well, typical Selina. You drove another man away. And that's all she is in the movie. It's just like, I'm a klutz. I'm no good. I drive all the men away. But I want a man, but they don't want me. That's what defines her. She then picks up the taser, and she's like, oh my god, it's so hot. And she just starts tasing the clown man. And she's like, woo! And she puts that in her purse. Eventually, Commissioner Gordon, Batman doesn't give a shit about anybody, especially Commissioner Gordon. Commissioner Gordon's like, Batman, I just wanted to talk to you about the Red Triangle Gang and their activities recently, and I really want to thank you for coming down here and saving the day. And Batman is just fucking walking and not looking at Commissioner Gordon at all. Like, they have no relationship in the movies in any capacity. Like, I don't think, do they even talk in the third one? Yeah, we haven't talked to him here. And he just gets back in the Batmobile and drives away. He drives away. And Commissioner Gordon's like, all right, Batman, good talk. I love you. It's like, he doesn't love Commissioner Gordon, chap. Poor Pat Hingle. He gets a lot. He doesn't get much to do in this film. Or in any of the other ones after this one. But then, Chad, we eventually cut back to Max Shreck, and he's running through this alleyway, but little did he know, Chad, the Penguin knows the underground, and he stands on the sewer grate, and someone pulls it out from under him, and he falls down into the sewer, Chad. Eventually, he comes to. He comes to, and he is surrounded. He's at this table in the penguin enclosure we saw 33 years ago, chat. All that time when Danny DeVito was raised by penguins. And there's all these clown people and circus people around him. He's going, what the hell? And he sees all these penguins, and they're pecking at him eventually. And he sees to his left, right down near the water line, the shoreline, he sees this hunched over figure with a bucket of fish and going, my babies, here, eat, you need sustenance. And Christopher Walken's like, oh my God. And then we see him, Chad, Danny DeVito turns around, and we see his pale, grotesque, black ooze bile coming out of his mouth body, the penguin, chat. And he looks at Max Shrek, he says, I think the word you're thinking of at this moment is, ah! And he's like, oh my God, the penguin man, the penguin man of the sewer is true. Yes, Max. And it's so good to see you. I've kept my eye on you for quite some time, and all of the dirty dealings you've done. He goes, what are you talking about? I'm an upstanding citizen of Gotham City. I've done as much as I possibly can for the people of Gotham. Oh, really? Is that right, boys? Bring it over. And they bring over this giant stocking where he's like, just a few things I've acquired along the way. Everything you flush down the toilet, Max, I put on my mantle. It's like, do you put human shit on your mantle, Danny DeVito Penguin? Apparently he does, Jet. Apparently he does. And we see like his whole outfit. He's like wearing this bathrobe that looks disgusting. He's in the full bodysuit that is just covered in stains of who knows what. His sweat, saliva, cum. I don't know. He's the trash. He is literally the trash man, chat. It's like, okay. Well, also we see that he has flippers. And listen, the makeup on him is great. It's great, but he's just so gross to look at. And we see that he has these flippers, and he has like his thumb fingers are like this, and we see on his other hand, or both his hands, they're like fused together. The fingers are fused together, and he has like two fingernails sticking out, and they're all brown and gross. He's got little flipper claws. He's got this huge nose. He's got these huge black circles. His hair is all long. He's balding and stuff. Like, it's a really cool design. It's not what I typically like for the Penguin. I like him more as like he's just a short, fat guy, but he's also a mob boss, and you know he has these legitimate establishments. He's also been used as an informant for Batman. Like, I like that Penguin a lot. Abomination Penguin's not my thing, but Danny DeVito, he's committed. He's completely 110% committed to this role. All right, whether it works, whether it doesn't, I think that's subjective to the person. Sometimes it works for me, sometimes it doesn't. But he's sitting there, and he's like, whatever you flush down the toilet, I put on my mantle. Here, a thermos filled of some of your waste. Yes, your waste from one of your textile factories. Very illegal, man. He just dumps it right on the table, and it's like, I don't know if I should fucking dump that, dude. But he dumps it, and he's like, oh, and one of the documents about all of the fire traps you happen to own in Gotham City. He's like, there's no such documents. Even if there was, I would order them shredded. He's like, oh, shredded. Oh, yeah. With a lot of tape and a lot of patience, you might be able to find these documents, Max. And he puts them on the table right there. Just more blackmail, more blackmail. And he's like, how about your friend, Fred Atkins, your partner? Where's he in all this? And Christopher Walken's like, oh, Fred, he's on extended leave, vacation. He goes, no, extended leave. Oh, yeah. He's like, how you doing, Max? It's Fred's severed hand. Remember me? And he puts it on there. And Max is like, what do you want from me? You blackmailing me? Is this what you want? He's like, no, I want what you've had your entire life. Self-respect. To be able to walk up there like you. I once lived there, but I was abandoned, thrown down here to live in the sewer. And I want vengeance, Max. I want my birthright. And he's like, well, listen, listen, I can help you with that. Okay, but there is a way we can go about this, all right? How about this? I engender the people of Gotham to you. They won't fear you. They'll embrace you. They'll love you. And he was like, oh, really? I like that, Max. All right, a deal's a deal. And he like goes to shake his hand, but he uses the severed hand of Fred, and he's like, ew. He's like holding the hand. He's like, I love it. I want to be where the people are. Eventually, we cut back to Selina Kyle. We come back to Selina Kyle. She has gotten home. She lives in this very obnoxious pink apartment. She walks to the door. She goes, honey, I'm home. Oh, that's right. I'm not married. I drive men away with my looks. It's like, Jesus Christ. She has no confidence at all. What happened to her? She goes to the fridge, where she takes out some half and half. We see that her cat, not named Isis, her name is just Miss Kitty. Very uninspired name, Selena. Come on, you're going to be Catwoman, but you couldn't name her Isis? Is Isis I guess that's like from the animated series. I don't know if it's in the comics, but I would have liked it if the cat was named Isis. It's just named Miss Kitty. That's like naming a dog, if you will. Anyway, she goes to the thing, pours it down on there, and the little kitty, Miss Kitty's lapping it up, goes to her answer machine, and we hear it's Selena's mother. She's like, Selena, it is your mother. I want you to call me back. I want to know if your date with that man was successful. You know that you're getting far too old to be single in this world, Selena. Soon those looks, which you didn't have much of to begin with, are going to fade. So call me back and let me know of your success. Like, even the mom's on her ass. It's like, holy shit. It was the animated series. Cool. And she's like, well, okay, Mom, yeah, I guess you're right. She goes to the next message, and it's this telemarketer, like, trying to sell her perfume. It's like, do you have men trouble? Do men just look at you, or do they smell you, and they just say, whew, you reek? It's like, what is it with this? It's just on top of it. I get it. All right. She's not good with men. She's a fucking loser. I understand. And it's like, well, you should buy our perfume. It's the perfect thing for a girl like you. The men will be crawling after you. Dark Debate, Jesus Christ, Selena gets dunked on a lot throughout the entire movie. Her mom does it. The answer machine does it. The cats even do it. They eat her. It's crazy. Not in a good way. And then she goes to her closet where she's like, organizing things, and she's still complaining. And then the answer machine kicks in again, and this guy is like, hey, Selena, it's Billy. And she's like, oh my God, it's Billy. I love Billy. We went on a date. And he goes, yeah, listen, I have to cancel our date tomorrow. I talked with my psychiatrist, and he says I need to be more independent and not hang around with losers like you. Anyway, bye. And she's like, no one likes me. And then the answer machine kicks in again. She sits down in the chair, plays stuffed animals, and then it kicks in again, the next message, and it's her calling herself. He's like, hey, Selena, honey, it's you. You need to remember to prepare the Bruce Wayne file for Max Shreck's meeting with Bruce Wayne tomorrow, because you will definitely forget. She's like, oh no, I forgot. And so she runs out of the apartment. Well, thankfully her apartment is in Gotham Plaza, which everyone lives in Gotham Plaza. So it's a quick walk over. But she goes over back to Max Shreck's kitty cat tower. Eventually, we cut back to Max Shreck. He is also entering the tower. He's going up to his office, and he sees Selena reviewing some of the files in his private filing system. He's like, Selena, you're working late? And she goes, oh, sorry, Mr. Shreck. I was just organizing the files for your meeting with Bruce Wayne tomorrow, and I was reviewing the plans for the power station. I learned a few things about it. He goes, oh, yeah, what did you learn, Selena? Well, she goes, well, it seems that the power station is not really a power station. It's more of a power capacitor, which was weird because that's kind of the opposite of a power plant. And then I went into your computer, and I didn't know your password, but I remembered that you really love your Chihuahua, and his name was Geraldo, and you keep him up there. Like, he has a stuffed Chihuahua, Chad. Has a stuffed, oh my God. Like, his fucking beloved Geraldo Chihuahua died, and he had him stuffed. And so I figured that would be your password. And so I put it in there, and I locked it. And I found out the capacitor is actually going to suck energy and electricity out of Gotham City. I don't understand why. It doesn't really make any sense, but I learned all this. And he's like, wow, you're very inquisitive, Selena. did anyone ever tell you what curiosity did to the cat? And she's like, listen, I mean, I could just forget it. You know, I'm just a woman. I just, like you said, I just keep my mouth and my vagina shut. I can just do that. I'll be fine. And he goes, I think it's too late for that now, Selena. I mean, inevitably, what I have to do is, I gotta kill you. And he's like pushing her up against a window, or she's getting close to this window. And she's like, oh my God, you're like a big time bully. She really says you're like a bully and you're just intimidating me. And he goes, oh, about to push her. And he goes, I got you, Selena. It's fine. It's a joke, you know. It's fine. And she goes, oh, you're just joking with me. He goes, yeah, we were joking. Bah! And he fucking pushes her out a window. And she falls like 50 fucking stories. Pop, and she falls into a lot of awnings. She does fall into a lot of awnings. Look, the most thing of the 2 minutes, you know, I don't want to victim blame, but you kind of brought one. Now, this part, she keep your fucking mouth shut. Mouth and the vajayjay shut, Selena. This is the one time you should have done that. And she did not. She did not. Eventually, she falls 50 fucking stories. But I guess the awnings catch her fall, but she fucking hits that ground hard. It looks like she's dead. And I've been telling you for years, Chet, listen, I know we have some cat lovers in the chat right now. 16-bit, good to see you. I know we have some cat lovers in the chat now. But listen, if for any reason, if you were to die, your cat would start eating you 3 minutes later. There's no doubt. It's like, are you going to feed me? All right, I'll just eat you. That's what would happen. I'm sorry, but it's a fact. And then apparently the cats, as soon as she hit the ground, every single cat in Gotham City went, ooh, it's dinner time. Look who rang the Selena Kyle bell. And they just swarm her. They swarm her. And they literally begin to, like, I mean, everything you can eat her, defecate on her, retch up hairballs and shit. And it's funny because we see the same scene again in the Catwoman movie of Halle Berry, chat, where a cat literally goes and like retches up some cat vomit breath then goes into her mouth. Same thing happens here. I don't understand it. It's so fucking weird. It's so weird, chat. And then she's coming to, and her eyes, they bug out, and then she gets up. And eventually we go back to her home where she opens the door and she's kind of like in a daze. She goes, hi, honey, I'm home. Oh, that's right. I'm not married. And she turns on the lamp and it falls on the ground and crashes and breaks. She goes over to the fridge, like the little Miss Kitty's there, goes to the fridge, takes out the cream, just pours it all in the bowl, like the entire thing on the floor and stuff, grabs another one, starts fucking deep chugging that shit because she's a cat. She's a cat. She wants cream. Starts playing the messages, and it's her mom going, Selena, this is your mother calling again. You didn't answer me. You didn't call me back. I want to know what happened with Billy, okay? Plays the next matches. Selena, what is going on? I know you don't have a nightlife. I know you don't have anything going on right now, but the least you can do is call your mother. And then gets the next message, and it's the perfume. It's like, listen, we just called you earlier about getting our perfume. I'm sure you haven't found a man in your life right now, and you're wondering why that is. And she fucking loses it. She loses it. We get this beautiful music, I will say. Beautiful music. Again, Danny Elfman, he fucking knocks out of the park with all his various themes. Well, for Batman, Catwoman, and Penguin, Chad. But she fucking loses it. And she grabs things, just starts. And this must have been so fun for Michelle Pfeiffer. Like, for an actor, like, you get to do whatever you want in the scene. Just destroy shit. So it's like, yeah, it's like you're playing around. And so she's grabbing stuff, grabbing crowbars, destroying her apartment, ripping off the paint and stuff, grabs her stuffed animals and stuffs them down the garbage disposal and turns that shit on. All this fuzz comes up in there. Gets this black spray paint, starts spray painting her entire house black, goes into her room. There she has this neon sign that says hello there, and she smashes some of the letters on it. She goes to her closet, starts spraying all her kitty cat shirts and stuff, rips open the other side, and she finds this black latex leather outfit, and she's like, I need to wear this. And she takes that, grabs a whole bunch of sewing equipment and things, goes over and starts cutting it with like scissors, putting this together. More cats ascend to her house. They come to her house like it's a mecca for cats now. They're all roaming around, pissing and shitting everywhere. It's like, my God, it must reek in there. And then eventually we cut, and it's this wide shot And we see that the letters now, instead of saying hello there, they say hell here. It's like, I get it. And we see Selena Kyle dressed up as Catwoman. She goes, oh, Miss Kitty, I'm feeling so much yummier. And it's like, hot. And then we cut. From that. And we are now, by the way, Bruce Wayne has not been on screen for 35 minutes. Like the last time we saw him was when he was looking broodingly at the floor. He has not been here. Eventually we cut to, it's like the next day, and the mayor is having a press conference talking about the Red Triangle gang and the violence in Gotham City, and he's trying to assure the people that there will be no more violence. And then this fucking random clown shows up behind them, punches the mayor's wife in the face, grabs the baby, and he just says, I'm not one for speeches, but all I'll just say is, thanks, have a nice day. He fucking cartwheels all the way to the sewer, chat, and jumps in. Meanwhile, we cut to the Penguin, who is also in the sewer on his giant robot truck duck or whatever. It's like this car / boat / hovercraft, and it's a big rubber ducky. He's there. The clown gives him the baby. And we hear, like, because everyone in the Gotham's like, oh, we're going to look at the manhole cover. He went inside the fucking, he stole a baby. He put the baby in the sewer. And we hear this exchange between the Penguin and the clown, where the clown's going, it's like, oh, the hideous Penguin man of the sewers. I'm sorry for what I have done. Here, take the baby. And Oswald takes the baby and goes, coochie, coochie, coo. Coochie, coochie, coo. And then he ascends from the sewer, chat, with the baby in hand. He's like, baby. And they take like, oh, my baby. And then Max Schreck walks up beside the Penguin. And it's like, the Penguin saved this child. He saved the man's child. It's a beautiful moment for everyone. And then he's like, yes, I am the Penguin you have heard about. I just wish to be accepted by you. I am not an animal. I am a human being. And I wish to learn about myself, about my family, about who I am. And then we got to Bruce Wayne's in the movie, chat. 35-minute mark, Michael Keaton gets dialogue. He gets dialogue, chat. He's sitting on the couch looking at this, and Alfred's like, what the fuck are you watching, sir? He's like, there's a Penguin man here, and he's talking about living in the sewer. It's weird. And then we cut to the Penguin. He's like, I wish to know who I am, who my parents are, why I am like this. And Batman, and this is the one point where Bruce Wayne's like, he's trying to find his parents. And he looks down, and he's like, that's really sweet, but fuck this guy. There's something about him I don't like. I don't like him at all. And then we cut. We then cut from that. And the Penguin, he goes to the library archives in Gotham City, where the whole press is there. Everyone's like, he wants to know more about the Penguin. Who is this guy? He seems like a stand-up individual. He saved the mayor's kid. That's incredible. And he's at the library archives, and Max Schreck is there. He's like, Mr. Cobblepot has some very important research to do to find his family, his origins. As all of you know, you wish to belong to something in Gotham. We're all family. In a way, we too are family with the Penguin. And the Penguin goes in there, and he just starts, he's going through birth certificates. And it's like, okay. And he's writing down names of kids. He's like, Bobby, Drake. He's just doing that. And it's like, okay, that's weird. He doesn't seem to be looking for himself. He's writing down all these names. We then cut to Batman, who's like, I don't trust that guy. And he's doing a bunch of research in the Penguin. Thank you. What he believes could possibly be the Penguin. Darkseid the Two-Bodies, that's nice and all, but I'm going to get shield killer vibes from him. Typical Batman paranoia, but justifiably. He's justifiable in his mistrust. It was true. He was right all along. And he's doing this research, And he finds these news articles about the Red Triangle Circus, this is where the Red Triangle gang came from, and how it went defunct a number of years ago. And some of the attractions were there. Like they had the strong man, they had the poodle woman, the dog woman, they had the fattest clown in the world, and the penguin boy. That's what's in it. He's like, oh, that's where he's from. And I bet he is the leader of the Red Triangle gang. I mean, he kind of jumps, a little bit, ahead of himself, but he's clearly the leader of the Red Triangle gang. That's what this all is. Eventually, Alfred comes down, and he's like, I have soup prepared for you, sir. And he fucking takes it, and he, eats it. He's like, it's fucking, Alfred, it's cold. And he's like, it is a cold soup, sir. He's like, it's fucking -5 degrees outside, Alfred. I'll heat it up for you, sir. But Alfred's like, no, Bruce's like, I'll eat it. Also, Bruce is still rocking his typical outfit from the original movie. Black turtleneck, and Wrangler blue jeans. Like, I like that he's consistent with this look. He's changed up the circle rims because he's glasses, because this Batman's fucking farsighted. He can't see things that are close to him, Chad. He struggles with that. He's fine when he's looking at things far away, but he can't see anything up close. They're octagon shaped, which I think is pretty cool. But, he puts him down. He's ringing. He's like, okay, this guy's clearly in charge of the Red Triangle gang. There's more to this. And then, he dresses up as Batman, gets in the Batmobile, and, chat, there is nothing cooler than the fucking Burton Batmobile going down a snowy street in Gotham City. It's really fucking cool. He literally pulls up to the library and just stares at the Penguin, and the Penguin's like, he's just writing down names. He's like, that fat fuck is up to something. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but I don't trust him. Oh, Mick, thank you so much. My Churless. Thank you so much, my Churless, for the gifted sub to King of Autumn 96. My Churless, hope you're doing well. I'm saying your name correctly. Apologies if I am not. Currently reviewing Batman Returns. Batman does not trust that fat fuck Penguin. He's doing something nefarious. He doesn't know what. But he shall soon learn. But I love that when Batman drives away, he's literally doing a Luigi from Mario Kart. It's like, they see me hating. I love it. I love it. Just looking at the hating. I love it. It's so good. He's just looking at him, giving him the side eye. Next day, Penguin has gone to Gotham Cemetery, where he has found out who he is. He knows his last name, chap. He knows who he is. And so he goes to the cemetery, which looks great. However, everything is made of fucking styrofoam. So you'll notice when he goes to the grave of Mr. and Mrs. Cobblepot, his parents, Danny DeVito puts his hand on one of the gravestones, and that thing wobbles like this. And that's because it's all made of styrofoam. And he sits down, or he doesn't sit down. He has these 2 roses, and he had this operatic music playing, and he puts one next to his mother's name and another one next to his father's name. He's like, I love you, Mom. I love you, Dad. He waddles up, puts his fucking top hat on, goes back to the gates. And they're going, Penguin, do you have anything to say that now that you found out about your parents? And he goes, my name is not Penguin. That is the name of an animal, a flightless bird. No, I have learned much about myself. My parents, I cannot imagine why they abandoned me. Maybe they expected a baby holding a rattle with 5 chubby digits, but instead they saw my hand, a shiny flipper, and they freaked. Justifiable. I forgive them. What is your name, sir? Your real name? My name is Oswald Cobblepot. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to stick with the name Penguin. I think I'd rather be known as Penguin than Oswald fucking Cobblepot. I think that would be a little bit better. But everyone's like, yeah, that's fucking great. We cut to Batman, who's watching this, or Bruce Wayne's watching this on TV, and Alfred's like, well, he's gross and weird looking, but at least he found out who his parents are. Batman's like, that fat fuck knows who his parents were beforehand. He's lying. He's known all this. There's something weird going on here, Alfred. There's something weird going on here. I'm going to figure it out. Eventually, we cut. It's later in the evening, and we're following this random woman walking down Crime Alley, because of course, and she is grabbed by a would-be thief and possible rapist. She's like, give me all your fucking money and your boobs. She's like, no! And then we see her. She's like, you give... I think that's what it is. Catwoman arrives, and she's like, why don't you get out of here? Get out of town. And he's like, who the hell are you? And she, like, she does one move over and over again in the movie. She does a high kick. She high kicks him in the gut like 3 times, and then she just gouges his fucking eyes out with her claws, because she has these, like, knitting claws or whatever, and she's like, ah! And she's like, get out of here. And the woman's like, oh, thank you. Like, first of all, if this happened, I would be... like, I'm going to run anyway. I'm not going to be like, oh, thank you so much for saving me. But I guess they're used to Batman. You must be like one of Batman's people. This woman's like, listen, girlfriend, thank you so much for helping me. And then fucking Catwoman just grabs her. And he's like, oh, such a victim. Why do you have to be this way? She's projecting because of how she was before. And she's like, why are you doing this to me? She goes, why? I am Catwoman. Hear me roar. And then she does a billion fucking backflips back into Crime Alley, chat. Okay, so she's not stealing anything. She's like a vigilante right now. Here, superhero. Like, you don't know what she's doing. Like, but she's not stealing shit. Not stealing nothing, chat. Eventually, we're at Max Shrek Tower, because he's having his meeting with Bruce Wayne. Bruce enters in. Max is like, Bruce Wayne, the Prince of Gotham, so good to have you here. I know the man, his acolytes sent you over here to negotiate the new power plant. And Bruce is like, yeah, I want to talk to you about that, Max. And they sit down. He's like, hey, I had some of my boys and gals. They look at the designs of your power plant. Here, take a look. And he throws it across the table, just fucking yeets it at him. And Max is like, Bruce, what is this all about? And he's like, your power plant is not a power plant. It's a power sucker. You're building a capacitor to, in fact, suck energy out of Gotham City for some reason. He's like, that power plant is my legacy, Mr. Wayne. It's for Chip and my son, who I love dearly. It's like, I wasn't born like you. A silver spoon in your mouth. A trust fund with billions of dollars. You won't understand who I am. And it's like, yeah, well, I know you're a piece of shit, Christopher Walken. And I know that you're trying to get in league with this Oswald Cobblepot, this Penguin. Penguin's an upstanding citizen of Gotham. You were just jealous you couldn't get your mitts on him like I did. And he's like, I believe he is the leader of the Red Triangle Gang and is responsible for everything that's transpired in these last few weeks. And he's like, you got to prove it, Bruce. You need evidence. He's like, I don't need evidence. I just need to punch things. He's like, what are you talking about? Never mind. Because the door's open, and Chip's like, Dad, I'm sorry. She just burst in. And it's Selina Kyle. And he's like, Christopher Walken's like, Selina, how are you here? And he's like, oh, sorry, Max, just... I bumped my head that time and hurt my hand. And he's like, yeah, of course, Mr. Wayne, this is my secretary, your executive assistant. My executive assistant, Selina Kyle, she was on vacation, but she had a ski accident, right? And she goes, yes, oh, yes, ski accident, of course. I forgot. Yes, of course. The memories are there, but a little fuzzy. I remember every intimate detail and a fall and a revelation and a rebirth, if you will. He goes, yeah, of course. Well, Mr. Wayne, if you need anything else, you know my number. And she's like, I'll walk Mr. Wayne to the elevator. And Bruce is just, oh my God, you're so hot. Bruce's weakness in this movie is blondes. He loves blonde-haired women because he's just sitting there looking at her like, oh my God, you're so pretty. He can't help himself, chat. Like Vicky Vale. He's a mush mouth. Around her and in front of Selina. So if you want to kill Batman, if you want to get under his skin, just find a buxom blonde-haired girl and boom, you got it. You got it. And she's like, I'll walk Mr. Wayne to the elevator. She's like, yes, she'll walk me to the elevator. Hell yeah. And she goes, Mr. Wayne, your coat? I don't need one. He's like, you came in with your coat. Oh, yeah, the coat, because it's cold outside. Yeah, I need that. And she walks him back to the elevator. Meanwhile, we had this fucking bizarre scene where Chip's like, Dad, what are we going to do about Selina Kyle? I thought you killed her. And Christopher Walken doesn't address his son. He literally looks at the camera and says, Selina Kyle, I don't know how she survived, but I have bigger fish to fry and batter. And he walks off screen. It's like, it's weird. It's so fucking weird. It's like, oh, okay. But they're walking the elevator. And Bruce is like, hey, listen, I really want to take you to dinner. Just there's just something about you that, yeah, we know you have a fetish, Bruce. You have a fetish for blonde-haired women, clearly. And he's like, I think it'd be just great to talk about power plants and capacitors and, all that cool stuff. And Batman, do you like Batman? Do you like him? He's kind of cool, right? And she's like, oh, Batman, he's very interesting. Well, Mr. Wayne. Maybe I can't meet you today. I have a prior engagement I need to get to tonight, but anytime afterwards, just call me. He goes, yeah, sure. She's like, well, I got to get going. He goes, yeah, of course. Okay, but, I'm going down. Oh, shit. And the elevator goes down, but he is all stammering and hem-hawing over her, chat. And I will say, at this point, I prefer this. I like how she plays into Kyle in these scenes. Like, I didn't like the way how she was in the beginning of the movie. And I think her Catwoman is going back and forth, being really ridiculous and everything. But I like how she's playing Selena Kyle here, where she's very much she's much more calm and very much in command of herself. She's in control of the situations. Like, that's how she probably should be. But, we only get so much screen time, I guess, sadly, chat. Anyway, we cut from that. We get to the Penguin, who is still writing down names. He apparently rented out an apartment somewhere, and he is unaware of the things happening below his floor. And he's writing down all the names of these people. And eventually, Christopher Walken, he walks in. He goes, Oswald, so good to see you. I just wanted to talk to you for a second if I could have your ear. Look, I get the money. Max Shrek handles this way too well, and he has no concern with how or why she's alive. Nope. He says if she tries to blackmail me, I'll drop off a tall tower. Doesn't make any sense. He's like, I can't deal with her now. I have bigger fish to batter and fry. But, he arrives in the scene, in Oswald's apartment, which is dilapidated. There's also a weird thing with Penguin in the movie where he has, like, Mr. Freeze disease. Did you guys pick up on this? Where even though it's the middle of winter, he has AC units constantly pumping cold air into every room he's in. Did you guys? It's, like, odd. So, when he was raised by penguins, did he become so penguin-like that he prefers frigid environments? It doesn't make any fucking sense. I'm confused about it, chat. But Max comes in there. He's like, Penguin, I wanted to talk to you. I want to grab your ear from him. Penguin's like, nah, I'm busy. I can't do it. And then Max is like, oh, but what about this? And he has a huge piece of raw fish, chat. And Penguin loses his fucking mind. He's like, good. He's like, come here. And he's like, he's like baiting him to the fucking stairs. He's like, he gets him to the stairs and he gives him the fish. And this was a real raw fish that Danny DeVito ate. This is not fake. And he just, and he goes down the stairs where, unbeknownst to him, while he's been making up all these evil plans, chat, to kill all the firstborn children of Gotham, fucking Christopher Walken, and we get to the weird part of the movie where Christopher Walken is then going to use Danny DeVito's Penguin as a new mayoral candidate so he can then build his power plant that will then suck the energy out of Gotham City. Even though it's not an election cycle. And everyone's down there going, surprise! And David's like, what's going on? And Max is like, this is the thing that we talked about, you becoming a hero for Gotham. It'll be great. You're going to run for mayor. It's not an election. And it's like, it's fine. Mayors can be recalled. Elections can be fixed. It doesn't matter. It's like, you understand local politics very well. It's like, even the Penguin knows you can't run for office now. What are you doing? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because eventually all these assistants start coming towards Penguin, and they're just going, oh, Mr. Cobblepot. Like, this one woman's there, and she's very good looking. This woman's like, Mr. Cobblepot, I just wanted to say that it's such an honor to be a part of your campaign team. He's like, you're good looking. And he's like looking at her breast the entire time. He's like scooting up to her, and she's always moving back like, okay. And then eventually this guy comes over, and he's like, not a lot of reflected surfaces in the sewer, huh? And he goes, I get it, yeah, I know, not really, no. But it would be a lot worse if my nose was bleeding. And they go, if my nose was bleeding. What do you mean, gushing blood, you know? He's like, what? And then he bites this guy's nose off, chat, and blood shoots out, fucking rips it off. He's like, oh. And at that point, be like, oh, this guy's fucking nuts. But Christopher Walken steps in, he's like, a little too much excitement here. It's fine. Everyone go back to your desks and let's elect a new mayor. And Oswald, he's blood coming down. What is this, Max? What's going on? And it's like, it doesn't make any sense. He's like, this is how you get in. This is how the people of Gotham accept you forever. You could fade. But this being the mayor, being the hero. Imagine, he's like, oh, yeah. That's true. I mean, well, I can picture it now. Your table is waiting, Mayor Cobblepot. Oh, Mayor Cobblepot, you can judge the Gotham beauty pageant. Ooh, see all the women, yes. And he's like, and these are the people that will help elect you. And it's like, and that woman right there, she'll help you right there. You can fill a void. You can fill a void left by the mayor. And he looks at the woman over there. He's like, I want to fill her void. It's like, he wants to fuck her. He's talking about her vagina. This movie had toys at McDonald's, Chad. It's fucking nuts. It's horrifying. It's horrifying. I saw parents leave the theater with their kids, and I did. Of course you did. Of course. It's scary. Biting off noses and talking about filling women's voids. And he's like, so we're going to work this out. We good? Oswald, we good? We in league? He's like, yeah, all right, I'll be mayor. I'll be mayor. What's our platform? What's our platform? It's like, we need to take down Batman, the mayor and Batman, and so people only look at you. And he goes, I like it. Okay, take down Batman, good. And he waddles up the stairs and he turns around and goes, burn, baby, burn. Bloody Friend Major, good to see you. You're a great storyteller, Chris. Thank you. I hope you like it. I hope you like me talking about women's voids and pretending to eat raw fish. I appreciate that, Bloody Friend Major. We then cut to rampant destruction across Gotham City, Chad. The Red Triangle gang, they've invaded again, and they're destroying Gotham Plaza, Chad, because that's where 95% of the Gotham City population lives. That's where they live, Chad. And they're wrecking shops, murdering people, setting people on fire, shooting them, gutting them. And Batman's like, all right, enough of this fucking bullshit. Enough of this goddamn bullshit. Thank you, Bloody Friend Major. There was Mr. Grimm. If they gave a prize for being mean, the winner would be him. Bloody Friend Major, thank you so much for the 5 good subs. You've gifted 100 subs to this channel. Cheers and salute to you, good sir. May the wings of liberty never lose a feather. You're shaking the pillows of heaven as we speak. Thank you for that generosity, good sir. I'll fill your void. I need to have like ooze dripping down my entire body. I'm beautiful. Come on, Batman says, but act like you didn't. Exactly. Act like you are a moral authority figure in this goddamn town. As soon as we enjoy, we'll get back to the review. But first, we must enjoy the Muppet Christmas Carol, chat. The theme for Scrooge. Thank you, man. Thank you again, Bloody Friend Major. And I hope you guys are enjoying the review so far. I love talking about Batman Returns, chat. It's a great goddamn time. A prize for being mean. The winner would be him. Indeed. Toys and McDonald's, video games, the Genesis, SNES. I remember the Batman Returns penguin toy, because I think I had it. I don't know, maybe it was like at a friend's house or something, but it was him and his little rubber ducky, and it squirts water. And I was like, is this supposed to be the ooze or the urine that he secretes? I don't know. Probably a combination of both, chat. Thank you again, Bloody Friend Major. Pleasure to have you here. Hope you're having a very nice evening. But then, rampant destruction across Gotham City. This is the first, like, really big, other than, like, the initial action scene in the beginning, which was pretty cool. This is where Batman's on the street, and he's fucking kung fu fighting, and it's some of the most awkward fighting in the goddamn movie. It's like, I don't think this is working. Because, again, Michael Keaton, he can't move his upper body. He fights like this the entire time. He can only move his torso. And so there's like these two, like he's fighting these guys, punches a few guys, uses a couple batarangs, that kind of thing. Clearly snaps a couple of necks. But you have these two guys that come at him with like these batons. and they not batons, but these like bow sticks or something, or like these long sticks basically, these pipes basically, and they're like swinging at him, and he literally Michael Keaton really dodges but like this, and he turns all the way around like super awkwardly and slow, but he has to move his entire upper body down, and it's like, ooh. He does it a lot of his stories. So yes, in the first movie, actually all of the Schumacher and Burton era Batmans, they all move awkwardly. They can't move around the suit. They can't move around the suit at all. But he manages to defeat them. But then he's surrounded by like a kung fu clown and like this monkey grinder clown, and then there's the poodle lady. Oh, there's a great little scene when the lady gives her dog, a poodle, a grenade, and it takes it in its mouth. And I guess the poodle somehow managed to unhook the grenade, and it runs away and it blows up this shop, chap. But it's just rampant destruction. And then Batman has a remote controlled Batarang, and I think they sold this at stores, if I remember correctly. I think this was like some like merchandise thing and no one's moving. So he's like, all right, no one move, please. I'm going to target all you guys on the Batarang. And it's like 4 people, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then he throws it and it totally tracks when the people hits the first monkey grinder in the head, hits the next kung fu clown. It's the clown with the swords. And then the little poodle dog jumps up in the air and grabs the Batarang, and the dog lady then leaves. And Batman's like, well, that just happened, as he's accosted by more clowns. It's like, okay. Eventually, we cut to Selena Kyle, who looks like she's going to be stealing stuff, because as we all know, chat, at 9 p.m. at night, all of Gotham Plaza is empty. There are even though the population of Gotham City, all 175 people live there, no one's on the street. And she goes up to the glass, and she is like, oh, she's going to start stealing stuff. Not really. She sneaks into the shop. She opens it up, and she just starts destroying stuff. Now, there's actually a really cool scene here when she's like smashing things. There are these mannequins, and it's when we see her using her whip for the first time, which I think is pretty cool. And she did all this, and there's like 5 mannequins. And what she does is she hits each one with the whip, whipping their heads off. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. She did this in one take the first time. And then she jump ropes with her whip. And you can actually see this in behind the scenes footage of like, because they were filming the making of the movie, where she does the jump rope, and then Tim Burton yells cut, and everyone stands up and just applauds her like, holy fucking shit. They thought that was gonna be days of filming that, or multiple hundreds of takes, and she did it the first time. Like, Tim Burton literally got out of his chair and like hugged her. It's actually it's pretty fucking cool, and like you can tell like Michelle Pfeiffer was like, yes, she was so excited about it. So it's pretty cute. It's pretty cute. But she kills it. She fucking kills it. Eventually, these security guards walk up on her, and he's like, oh, geez, I don't know whether to shoot her or to propose. And they're like, hey, fucking broad lady, Cat Broad, get over here. And she goes, hey, boys, how you doing tonight? Don't you know you should treat women with a little more respect? And she takes the whip, and she hits the guns out of their hands. And then she's like, get out of here. And they're like, okay, I'm scared and horny. And yeah, I am too, Chad, at this point. But they run away. And she goes over to, oh no, not yet. Not at this point. No, she does. She goes over to some microwaves, and she takes these hairspray containers, and she puts them in a microwave, sets it to like 10 minutes or something. And then she goes over to this fuse box that contains all of the gas in the building. Okay. She could have easily opened it, but she wanted to use her claws, and she rips it open, which is kind of cool. And then she unhinges the gas valve, and then all this gas is filling the building. Meanwhile, we cut back to Batman, who is now in Gotham Plaza, and he's being accosted by various individuals. He has this one clown who tries to suicide bomb himself, but he removes the dynamite, and he has a dime in his hand. And eventually, he turns a corner, and there's this huge fucking clown giant who's like, come on, hit me. And Batman just goes like, okay, reels back, punches him, and he's like, is that the best you got? And then Batman's like, Smiles at him. He's like, huh? He looks down. He put the fucking bomb on his belly. And then Michael Keaton, you've seen this before, this meme. You've seen this meme before, chat, where Michael Keaton smiles and he reels back his head, grabs the guy, and throws him into the sewer where he explodes and dies. I'm just like, wow. So many weird things within that few seconds, chat. Michael Keaton's smile to his face to literally murdering a man and blowing him up in a sewer. He turns that corner, and who does he see standing right in the middle of Gotham Plaza? Oswald Cobblepot, chat, the Penguin. And Batman's like, what are you doing here? He's like, surveying the destruction. This mayor has failed this city, Batman, and so have you. And he's just like, I'm trying to protect this city from people like you. I know you're the leader of the Red Triangle Gang, and soon I shall be the mayor of Gotham. And Batman goes, "You're not the mayor. You're not the mayor." And the Penguin's like, "You really don't think you'll win, do you?" And then they cut because they hear like someone doing backflips, and they look over and they see Catwoman doing like a shit ton of backflips towards them, and she stands right in front of them like, whoo, meow. And the whole building behind her fucking explodes. And Batman and Penguin were like, whoa, holy shit, that was awesome. And you could tell when they cut, though, when she says, meow, which is great. I love that line. I love how she says it. But when the explosion happens, it's obviously not Michelle Pfeiffer in the suit. It's a stunt double. I mean, it's like, probably everyone's stunt. There's also other scenes you can see in the movie where it's obviously Danny DeVito's stunt double. Michael Keaton's hard to tell because of just the suits all encompassing and covers so much of him. But you can tell that was not the Michelle Pfeiffer in that scene. But it blows up, and Batman's like, holy fucking shit. And Danny DeVito's like, I saw her first. And he activates his helicopter umbrella where it shoots out and it has this giant propeller on it. He hooks his foot as an umbrella as he ascends. I'll kill you next time, Batman. He ascends while Catwoman is climbing up the side of the building. Batman's like, what the fuck is happening? He follows her up the building, and he gets into a bit of a tussle with her. They start fighting. He's blocking all her punches, and he just goes, bah! He fucking backhands her, and she's like, oh, how could you do that? I'm a woman. And Batman's like, I'm sorry. He literally's like, I'm so sorry. He's like trying to comfort her, and then she scratches his face. He's like, oh, and she starts just pummeling the shit out of him at this point, chat. I mean, it's very nasty. It's very nasty. They keep going back and forth until eventually they knock themselves over this precipice. She ends up on fucking top of him, and she's like, oh, Batman, you're so bad to a little kitty cat like me. And then he kind of like is like, this is weirdly hot, and I'm kind of digging it. He's just kind of looking at her, and then he looks up, and he sees a mistletoe, and he's like, hey, that's a mistletoe. You know, it's deadly if you eat it. And she's like, and a kiss is deadlier if you mean it. And I'm like, what the fuck does this have to do with anything in the movie? Why are we talking about mistletoes? It's like, it's this iconic line, but it's so weird, and it comes out of nowhere as these two people are just beating the shit out of each other. Eventually, he flips her off of him, and she's like she's falling down this rooftop. She's trying to get there, but he grabs her the last second, lifts her up, and she's like, Batman, thank you for saving me. And she's like lusting. He's like, oh my God, you're so hot. Oh. And he's like, but who's the man behind the bat? When she starts like feeling his body, like his sides, is that you? Is this you? Oh, that's you, right? Is she like grabbing his dick? Is she gonna jerk me off? It's like, what's happening? It's so sex-filled, this movie. And she starts saying, like, who's the man behind the bat? Maybe you can help me find the woman behind the cat. And then she stabs him in the penis. And he's like, ah! And I'm sorry, ladies, if you stab us in the penis, we are going to backhand you. It's just like, ah, bah! She fucking falls off the roof. I mean, listen, it's don't stab us in the penis. We're gonna have to, take measures in our own hands. And she fucking falls off the roof. And what does she land into? She lands into the back of a truck filled with kitty litter. And she goes, saved by kitty litter. Oh, also I forgot. He threw I didn't know. I forgot about this too. When she stabs him in the dick, he not only backhands her, but he throws an acid bomb at her arm, and it melts her arm like, and that's when she falls over. I forgot about the acid bomb, chat. Newsy Revan, whoa, meow, whip sounds and stabs Chris in the pee-pee. No, don't stab my pee-pee. Oh, God. That's what happens, chat. Use your wings, Jana Van Dyne. Nah, she doesn't do it. She doesn't do it. But thank you for subscribing. I do appreciate that. Oh, Jesus, have troubles again. No stream. Oh, shit. It's not good. I'm sorry to hear that. Sounds like the point. It kind of is. New edition. This is, listen, have I exaggerated anything in this movie so far in regards to the lustfulness of Catwoman and or Penguin? It was the ribs? Nah, it was the peen, man. Because then we cut, and Batman, he's back at the Batcave, and he's addressing his injuries. He takes out one of the little sewing nails out of his penis. He's like, ah! And he's like removing parts of the suit, which I think is pretty cool. We haven't seen him do that yet in the films, like just moving it like piecemeal. He calls Alfred on a rotary phone. He's like, Alfred, I got stabbed in the dick. Bring me the iodine ointment. And he's looking at it like, what the fuck? After that, we cut to the mayoral office of Oswald Cobblepot, chat. He's got a little bit of fancier clothes. He's addressing this crowd, and he's like, everyone, I am very upset with how things are being run in Gotham. And my campaign, my first effort as mayor will to bring justice to the city and order. And we hear a reference to the Joker, which I thought was pretty cool. It's like, this city has been ruled by a clown, and a bad one at that, and we are plagued by Catwomen. I assure you, as your mayor, Oswald Cobblepot, that will not be. And I assume Batman, he too will fall in line. And then we have this very buxom-looking woman walk up to Oswald Cobblepot. She's like, Mr. Cobblepot, I just wanted to tell you that you're such a role model for young people like me. And he goes, and I just want to tell you that you are a very hot person for a role model like me. I have a button. Gonna get that button on there. He starts literally groping her boob. Just get that right there. There it is. And he goes upstairs. It's like, holy shit. Wow. I just saw Dan DeVito's Penguin groping a boob in a Batman movie. Okay. He waddles up the stairs like, thank you, my adoring fans, my lovely fans, my big-breasted, big-assed fans. And he goes upstairs. And the clown people are all there, and they're like, Penguin, Catwoman's here to see you. And he's like, ah! And we see Catwoman on his bed, ass sticking out like this, and just going, And And he's like, just the pussy I was looking for. And she's like, and he like is about to like jump on top of her and just start fucking. And she sticks out her foot and she goes, I'm not here for that, Oswald. He's like, what are you here for? We have so much in common, as you know. We're both freaks. We have such sexual, naked, sexual charisma. And she's like, listen, no, that's not what we have in common. No, we both have a certain thing in common, and that's Batman. He's the fly in our ointment. He's like, ointment, I got just the thing for you to rev things up, make it a little hot in here. I have scented and unscented. What do you want? She's like, Jesus, I'm getting nowhere with this. And he's like, what is it you want from me if you don't want my beautiful penguin body? And she's like, I want to bring down Batman, okay? He's messing with all of our plans. I want revenge. You want mayoral duties, I guess. And I see you already have a fucking list right now of enemies. And she gets the list of children. And she starts reading. He goes, and he fucking freaks out. He's like, that's not for your eyes, pussy. That's for no one's eyes except me. Why should I trust you? And they're like circling around this birdcage. There's a little parakeet in there. He's like, you can be just some crazy cat broad who is trying to upset daddy. Didn't get her car on her sweet 16. I can give you something sweeter, honey. And it's like, what is going on? She's like, you're so fucking gross. And then we get to another like weird scene when she's like, like she's whistling, like she's whistling to the bird. And he's like, and she opens the cage and she grabs, he's like, grabs the bird and she eats it. Now Michelle Pfeiffer actually put a live bird in her mouth. Yet this scene is real. When it's inside of her mouth and when it flies out, that's all real. That's a true practical live action effect. Now, I can only imagine the amount of times that bird shat in her mouth, because that bird was like, what the fuck? Something's eating me. I'm going to shit and piss in this mouth right now. But she was a champ. She fucking did it. And he's like, oh, my baby. And you know, Catwoman also brought her cat, Miss Kitty. And he's like, good kitty. Sweet kitty. Pussy cat. And he takes his umbrella and a fucking blade pops out. He's about to stab it. And she goes, bleh, and she regurgitates the bird and it flies away. And she's like, listen, okay, we need to bring down Batman, all right? Enough playing around. He's like, I already have a plan. I have obtained somehow, this is a big plot hole in the movie, somehow he has obtained the schematics to the Batmobile. There is no explanation as to how he got them. Who provided them to him? Nothing. I was like, how'd he get these? And he has them, and he's like, we're going to turn his Batmobile into an H-bomb on wheels. And she's like, for this fucking city will love him even more as a martyr. Like, no, you have to do the thing that he hates most. He's like, what's that? You need to turn him into one of us, a villain. A villain, I see. That's possible, I suppose. And she lays back down the bed, and she's like, I'm going to give myself a bath now. And she begins washing herself. She's licking herself and, like, rubbing her spit on her face. And Danny DeVito's just jerking off. And he finishes, and he's like, a plan is forming. Okay. And then we move on. I don't know where we are. This scene, I'm like, I can't believe what's happening. It's fucking nuts. Okay, yes. Okay. We are now on the streets of Gotham, which is Gotham Plaza. She's a chat. Did you know she's a cat? She's a cat, chat. We then move on, and Bruce is walking around Gotham City, which we all know is Gotham Plaza. 95% of the population lives there. And since 95% of the population lives there, Selena Kyle's also there looking at a window of like a family, because that's like what she wants, but knows that she can't have because she's a cat now. And Bruce is like, oh, Selena, it's it's great to see you here. I just I know we didn't have like time. I've been really busy. Want to set up that date with you, and if you want to do that. She's like, oh, Bruce, yeah, of course, yeah. Yeah, what do you want to do? He's like, well, not the lame tree lighting ceremony that's tonight, because that's fucking stupid, right? She goes, yeah, it's really stupid. He's like, do you want to do that? Do you like the tree lighting ceremony? Did I insult you? He goes, no. I mean, you want to meet at your place and get some food and sit in next to like a giant fireplace, like the biggest one we've ever seen in our lives. And he goes, I got that. I have that fireplace. We can go ahead and do that. She's like, fucking great, cool. We then transition over to the Penguin, who is walking towards the Ice Princess's tent, because she's in charge of the tree lighting ceremony. Now, this actress, beautiful, I'm sure very intelligent. She gets a really shitty role because she just plays a ditz, where she's like, okay, so this is what I need to do. The lights go on the tree, they turn on, and then I press the button. No, that's not right. I have to press the button, and then the lights turn on. That's right. You're a good Ice Princess. It's like, why are you referring to yourself as the Ice Princess? And then eventually Oswald Cobblepot comes in and goes, oh, hi, how you doing? And she goes, oh my God, who are you? Like, she's been in her own fucking world. She doesn't know who the Penguin is. He's been the talk of the town. She's been the talk of the town. Like, Gotham, there must be something in the air, because no one knows who Bruce Wayne is, and no one knows who the Penguin is. And it's like, that's kind of weird. But he's like, yeah, I'm here to escort you. I'm your photographer. And she goes, you're a photographer? Is that your camera? And the poodle lady's there, and she produces the remote-controlled Batarang. And he goes, yeah, say cheese. And he fucking bludgeons her with the Batarang, chat. Okay, we then cut. It's the dumb blonde cliche. Very much so. We then cut from that, and we're at Wayne Manor, where Alfred has laid out the snacks and wine for the sexy times. He's like, I expect you to have children, Master Wayne. And he's like, shut up, Alfred. Shut up, leave us alone. He waddles off, and so it's like, it's a huge fucking, it's a hearth. It's like a Game of Thrones style hearth, chat. Giant fireplace. And she's like, it's really great to just kind of sit down and talk to you, Bruce. I know we haven't really had any scenes where we're conversing as normal people. And he's like, yeah, I guess that's kind of true. You want to fuck? And she's like, hell yeah. And she's on top of him immediately. Actually, no, what they do is, chat, she's asked him about, like, well, a guy like you, I expect you to be married by now with a family. And he's like, well, there was this one woman, Vicky. And she's like, Vicky? And this is where he actually mentions Vicky Vale in some of the events of the previous film. Penguin mentions the Joker, referring to the clown who ruled Gotham City. And Bruce Wayne mentions Vicky Vale. After that, there's another reference later on in the movie where Bruce chastises Alfred about letting Vicky into the Batcave. And I think that's pretty much it. Those are the only 3 references to the original film. And then they never really refer to these movies again in the Schumacher era. I don't think they touch on them at all. I can't think, other than, having just Michael Gould around as Alfred. But he talks about Vicky and how, that didn't work out. And she's like, why? She couldn't deal with your secret life. And he's like, no, I mean, I told her everything about me. It was just living with that, knowing that knowledge and having that. And how do you compartmentalize that? And that's a good question. It's like, even if Bruce always, like, as soon as he falls in love, he's like, hey, you want to know my secret identity? It's like a fucking running gag in comics that he constantly does that because he's so horny. But it never works out inevitably because he's never really Batman. He's never really Bruce Wayne. He's Batman. That's who he truly is. And it's hard for him to maintain relationships, Chad. As we know, he's a bad father and he's a bad husband. And he struggles in those roles constantly. And a lot of people resent him. They either hate him or they become villains later on. That's what happens, sadly. It's one of the big tragedies of Batman. Is that he is destined to be alone. The animated series handled this really well, Chad, in the DCAU. It's sad. Kind of in the next one, Bruce has a flashback scene of his parents' death, and it does appear at that man who kills. Oh, it's Jack Napier. Oh, okay, fair enough. I haven't seen Forever in a while, so thanks for that catch. That's cool. I'll probably review it someday. But yeah, he's just talking to me. It's hard to just work with all this. She's like, I have the same problem. Do you want to have sex? He goes, yes. And so they begin. Chris Ayers, the 5 biddies. Go to sleep now. Night Juice. Chris Ayers, thank you for the 5 biddies. Have a great evening. Thank you so much. But then they start having the smooches. They start smooching, grabbing, and groping. But the thing is, like, she's grabbing his peen where he was stabbed. He's like, nah, my peen. And he's like rubbing up on her arm where she has that horrific fucking acid burn. It's like, you should go to a hospital, Selena. And they're touching that. And then I think the TV's on the background, and everyone's saying the Ice Princess has been kidnapped. Oh no. And he's like, I gotta save the Ice Princess. And he's like, I'm so sorry, Selena, I can't do this. She's like, I can't do this either, because they don't know that either the one is Batwoman, the one is Catwoman. And he's like, I gotta get going. I have an important business meeting tomorrow, and I'm sorry, I should have told you that. We can do this in the future. She's like, of course, dinner, lunch. Yeah, it sounds great. And he walks over. Alfred's like, are you fucking? Alfred would have literally walked in on them, like, going at it. He was like, good, Bruce. He's like, God damn it, Bruce, what are you doing? He's like, Alfred, the Ice Princess has been kidnapped, most likely by the Penguin. Also, it's shown on television because Commissioner Gordon, he's on the TV, and he's like, Batman did it. There's a batarang here. He kidnapped the Ice Princess. You're a terrible police officer, Commissioner Gordon. Because they found the batarang at the scene, covered in the blood of the Ice Princess. Poor Elsa, chat. And he goes to Alfred, and he's like, the Penguin is trying to frame me for the kidnapping of the Ice Princess. They know my weakness is blonde women, Alfred. I need to get down there and stop it. And Alfred's like, don't you think it's a trap? And he goes, I mean, maybe. I don't know. And he's like, I'm going to leave. Please tell Selena that. We'll meet up later. And he's like, okay. And he goes, Selena goes to Alfred. She goes, hi, Alfred. Listen, I got to get going. Tell Bruce that I can meet him some other time. Just make up something for me. He's like, right away, miss. And then we get the suit-up scenes where we go down the Batcave. When you see that Batman, Bruce has multiple Batman suits, but they're all the same one. Not like, this is the water suit, and this is the volcano suit, or some bullshit like that. It's just the same costume over and over again. But he's suiting up, and it's like really epic and things. They're all rubber and everything. And Selena's, like, her suit-up scene is not as cool because she's literally in her car, almost skidding off the road, trying to put her body inside of the skin-tight latex suit that she made herself. Eventually, Batman, he appears in the scene. He's in the Batmobile. He gets out awkwardly, and he locks it up, Chet. He puts in that giant condom sheath from the last movie. Remember that? The armored Batmobile? Locks it up. But somehow the Penguin has obtained the blueprints to the Batmobile because I guess that's just out there in the ether. People can just, oh, yeah, you just go down to the local library. You can find that. Yeah, no problem. And they literally just press a button and they open up the Batmobile and they begin fucking with it, chat. They're hacking the planet, baby. They're hacking the Batmobile planet. Batman eventually, he back grapples up to a building, spots the Ice Princess in a nearby building. He's like, I'm going to go in there because she's in there. Breaks open the door, and he's like, don't worry, I'm here to save you. And she's like, oh, thank you so much, Batman. He's like, so you know it wasn't me that kidnapped you? Of course, it was just some gross guy with fish breath. I'll tell the police everything. And then Selena literally jumps down and says, like, did someone say fish? I'm hungry. And she like kicks Batman. And Batman goes, why don't you eat some floor? And he hits her. He just punches her, chat. She hits the floor and he goes, it's high in fiber. When did we suddenly get transported to the 1960s Batman series? It's like we go from filling women's voids with penguin dick, chat, to talking about eating the floor, it's high in fiber. Where there is no balance, you don't know what's going to happen either scene. They keep fighting. She frees the Ice Princess, throws a fucking chair at Batman. He's like, whoa, we throwing chairs now? Jesus. And she wraps up the Ice Princess and chokes her. She's like, excuse us, girl talk. And she's like, oh, and she drags the Ice Princess out of the building. He then bursts through there following them. The Ice Princess is on a ledge. And if I was Batman, walk off the ledge. But he says, don't move, Ice Princess. She goes, don't worry, I'm really good at not moving. He's like, fantastic. And then he's like, I'm just going to approach you, okay? But then the Penguin fucking comes out and goes, I'm back. He takes his umbrella, yeets it. It lands in front of, he's going to like harpoon her. No, it lands in front of the Ice Princess and unleashes bats. He has somehow captured bats, and they attack the Ice Princess, and fucking she falls off the ledge. As Batman awkwardly moves towards her, I would have said, step forward now, Ice Princess. But she's like, ah! And I thought it was just kind of mean-spirited when they killed her. She falls all the way off the ledge, boom, right in front of the plaza. We're all on the podium, about to relight the tree, and she's dead. She splatters on the ground like a water balloon on hot cement. And then this one guy points up and goes, "It's Batman! He pushed the Ice Princess!" And he's like, "No, I didn't. No, I didn't." And then the Penguin pushes a button, and apparently he was keeping bats inside of the Christmas tree. And they begin terrorizing all of the citizens of Gotham. And because they're all bats, therefore Batman is responsible for this happening. He's attacking us with bats because he's a Batman, Chad. He's a bat. And then Batman's like, "I got to get out of here." But then the police suddenly, the GCPD have the worst response rate in DC Comics, and yet they immediately get up to the building and they start shooting Batman. He's like, "Gah!" But he activates his, he has like these giant bat wing harness. I'm like, "You didn't have that before." And he just floats off the building like this. Commissioner Gordon's like, "Don't shoot him, don't shoot him, follow my orders." And as he then menacingly glides over the citizens of Gotham like this, as the bats attack more people, they go, "It's Batman, he did this to us." And he eventually goes back to, like, he retreats. He retreats and he runs back to the Batmobile. We then cut to the Catwoman, who's observing the destruction of Gotham Plaza, chat, where it contains 95% of the Gotham population. And Oswald waddles up. He's like, observing our handiwork, the chaos. And he's like a bottle of champagne. He's got a ring in his hand. What does he have a ring for? And she goes, "You didn't have to kill the Ice Princess." He's like, "A necessary sacrifice. It wasn't like she had a lot up there anyway. She had good looks, big tits, but not one for conversation. How about we enjoy some of the bubbly?" And he gives her a glass, pours some champagne for himself. She just fucking downs it. And he's like, "Now I want to consummate our relationship." And he hands her a ring, and she takes his like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "You're marrying up. I will be the toast of the town of Gotham City. Just think of it. I'm home from work. I'm bushed, and you in a nice nightie, a martini in your hand, and a play whip in the other. Ooh." And she's like, "I wouldn't fucking scratch you to touch you." And he loses it. He's like, "Yeah." And she throws the ring off. And he's like, "Oh, yeah, you think so? Well, you're just some fucking bitch. You're a slut, and you don't deserve someone like me. And you know what? I don't like you anymore." He's like a toxic piece of shit guy on the internet who is constantly saying all these compliments to this woman who wants nothing to do with him, and then he insults her and says these horrible things and harasses her, and then he's like, "I don't like you anymore. I think I'm gonna kill you." And he hooks his umbrella into her neck, and he activates the helicopter, so the blades come out, and she starts going up and like hating. He's like, "Go, little kitty, go to heaven." And he's an incel, exactly. He's an incel, Casfay. Nailed it. And she's floating above the city. Get this great shot of Gotham, where I guess the other 5 people live. And eventually she she gets her neck out of it, but she drops and she falls into a greenhouse. Through the glass, she gets up. The Catwoman suit's even more damage, and she goes, "Ah!" She screams. And all the glass shatters, chat. So now she has another enemy, chat. Not just Max Shrek, not just Batman, but now the Penguin, chat. The Penguin at this point. Oh, Lord. Eventually, where are we now? A lot happened here. Oh, yes. Yes, Batman, he's being blamed, he's being hunted by the police. He then gets back to the Batmobile, and he gets inside. Meanwhile, the Penguin, he has gotten off the ledge, and he's being greeted by his adoring fans. He's like, thank you, yes, thank you, I'm gonna go to my trailer now. many busy days ahead. He goes in his trailer, where he and his gang have built a mini Batmobile inside of the trailer, like it's like one of those rides as a kid, like a carousel. He lifts himself in there, and is like, nah. And he activates it, and he shuts Batman in the Batmobile. And Batman's like, what the fuck? And then Penguin's there is like, let's go for a joyride, Batman. And he takes control, and the Batmobile just starts running over fucking people and destroying all these cop cars and shits. And he's like, I'm playing this city, these fucking idiots, like a harp from hell. And he's just everything. Eventually, Batman's like, okay, I gotta record him. This is weird. He's like, I have to use the power of CDs, which was just introduced in the late 90s. Yeah, he had cassettes, of course, in the 80s, but now CDs were a thing. It's like, ooh, futuristic bat technology. Little did you know, Chad, Batman invented CDs, at least in the DC universe. He puts it in the Bat computer, and he's like, I am going to record everything Oswald Cobblepot is saying for reasons. And so then he figures out that there is a device underneath the Batmobile that is controlling it, like this little booper, this little electronic booper. And he grabs it just in the nick of time before he's about to run over this old lady, and he destroys it, and he takes control of the Batmobile. All the cops are after him now. And the Penguin is literally going like that, and Batman punches the screen. He's like, just turn the screen off, dude. Don't punch the screen, but he punches it. He then realizes, like, the only way I can escape the police if I go down a very narrow alleyway, and he ejects the thickness of his Batmobile. All the thickness is gone, and he becomes like this Widow Needle Batmobile. Like, it's like the Batpod from The Dark Knight. I wonder if Christopher Nolan was inspired by this scene in Returns, where he's like, I want the Batmobile to turn into like a Batpod Batbike thing. So I think he probably took it from here. And it shoots, all the thickness is gone, and it shoots through the alleyway, and he escapes at this point. But then the Penguin, he's upset because he wanted to kill Batman. He's like, this is the opportunity. This is my big plan. I probably should have blown him up like my original plan was, instead of trying to get the city to turn against him. And he's like, God damn it. He's like, Shrek, I wanted to kill Batman, and it didn't work. And Max Shrek is like, don't worry, Penguin, it's fine. You're going to be the mayor. He's going to be recalled. You'll be able to kill Batman. You'll be able to put put a bounty on his head. It'll be fine. He's like, I suppose. That's right. It's like, your adoring fans await you. And so he steps outside, and he starts doing this big speech about how the mayor sucks and Batman sucks, and, I hate it, but I am your mayor. I am here for you. Everyone's like, yeah. It's like 25 people gathered, and they're like, we love, and all their signs say, we love Oswald Cobblepot. The Penguin is our man. It's like, people are like, oh, these are clearly fans of his, okay? They're his supporters. We then cut to Bruce, who is watching this, and he's like, fuck this guy. I am done with the Penguin. I'm done with it. And eventually Alfred walks up and he goes, listen, I know the Penguin's, ruffling your feathers, but, I get it, Bruce. But listen, everything with Selena, like, she clearly is a woman that has mighty affections for you, Bruce. Maybe you should tell her who you really are. He's like, yeah, okay, yeah. So, like, how it was forced to deal with Vicky Vale when you brought Vicky Vale into the Batcave, Alfred. Remember that? I love that how they had that line specifically in there because it was so controversial in the first movie, so they had to address it. And Alfred's like, I'm sorry, okay, Jesus. And he's like, I'm going to go use the slide. I'm going to use the sarcophagus slide. You want to join me in the sarcophagus slide, Alfred, to go down the Batcave? He's like, I'll take the stairs, sir. And so he goes inside of this sarcophagus that then shoots him down. It's like a wee slide. And he's like, okay, Alfred, have you been practicing your DJ skills? Yes, sir, I know the hippity hops. And they defeat the Penguin, chat. They turn Gotham City against the Penguin thanks to the power of hippity hops and rap. It was incredible. Where they have the CD that Batman recorded when he was in the car, and they then put it in. Batman then hacks into the loudspeaker system at Oswald Cobblepot's speech, and then starts having that dialogue come over the speakers. And so when Penguin's talking, it's like, and I promise you as your mayor, and then it cuts, and it's all of a sudden it's like, these Gotham people are fucking idiots. I played them like a harp in hell. And he goes to Christopher Walken's like, hey, that wasn't me. Christopher Walken's like, it sounded like you. And he's like, that's clear. I would have said his Penguin would be like, hey, everyone, someone is hacking the speaker system and doing this. It's not actually me talking. But everyone's like, the Penguin called us idiots. And the Penguin, he's like, starts trying to talk again. And he's like, And it goes like, Gotham City, they're a bunch of suckers, and I'm fucking them over. And then they're like, hey, the Penguin called us a bunch of fucking suckers. Boo! Boo! And everyone, Max Shrek, all of his advisors just abandon him. He's like, no. And Max Shrek's like, whatever. He shrugs and walks off the stage. And then all of a sudden, all of the people, his supporters, start throwing rotten fruit and vegetables at him and eggs. And he asks a very important question where he takes out his fucking umbrella and he's like, why do people always bring rotten eggs and tomatoes to a speech? It's a really good question. I'm like, that's a big fucking weird plot hole in the movie, but it's okay. And he's like, well, this hasn't gone over well. We also cut back to Bruce, who keeps replaying the message, and he goes, wicka, wicka, wicka. And Alfred goes, wicka, wicka, wicka. I love it. But he takes the umbrella, cocks it, and just starts shooting at the crowd. He then yeets himself off the stage and uses some of his former supporters to cushion his fall as he waddles off. And he's like this weird penguin abomination man waddling around Gotham City trying to run as fast. He's like, no. He goes into Gotham Park, chat, where the cops are just fucking shooting at him. Hands up. Jesus. They're just shooting at Penguin. His back is turned and everything. And Penguin's like, no. He yeets himself over the bridge where he was. And this is like, oh, I see what this is all about. It's like, it's like how his parents abandoned him, threw him over the bridge. And now Gotham has abandoned him here. He's rejected completely, where he throws himself over the bridge into the water. And I guess he's a good swimmer. I guess he's a really good swimmer, chat. And it's like, okay. All right, sure. Oh, where are we now? At this point, we then go to where I'm trying to remember where we are. Okay, Penguin Type of Car. So eventually he gets to his rubber ducky boat and he goes into the Arctic World Penguin exhibit again. And he's like, my babies, did you miss me? Did you miss Daddy? Oh, I missed you. Oh, I missed you so much. He docks onto the main stage area, and you have this one clown that goes, hey, Oswald, that was a really good speech. And he fucking backhands him. And he's like, my name isn't Oswald Cobblepot. It's Penguin. I am an animal. Cold-blooded. And he's like, fuck them all. And they're like, what's going on? He's like, they've abandoned me, and I will do what I set out to do from the beginning. And he's like, I have collected the names of all the firstborn children, boys, girls, the elite of Gotham City. And what I'm going to do is what we're all going to do. We're going to sneak into their homes, into their beds, into their cribs while their parents are away. Stuff them in the back of my obnoxiously weird-looking toy train contraption, and we'll bring them down to the sewer and drown them. And I love that there is the big fat clown in the background that goes, Penguin? And he goes, he's like, I mean, kidnapping sleeping kids and drowning them in a sewer. I mean, that's a little... And Penguin's like, nah. He goes for an umbrella and boom, fucking shoots him. He goes, nah, it's a lot. He pushes him down into the water and it's like, get going. Plans are in motion. It's fucking nuts. We then cut to Bruce Wayne. He's fixing the Batmobile. Alfred arrives in the Batcave and he says, Bruce, you have an invitation to Max Shrek's gala. I assume you will not be going. He goes, yeah, fuck that thing. Alfred rips up the invitation, and as soon as Alfred rips up, Bruce says, Bruce goes, well, you know what, Alfred, I think I will go. And Alfred's like, okay. And Bruce, he arrives at the gala, chat. Or that's the gala, all dressed, everyone's in costume. The theme is buildings, because you have some people that are dressed up like they're wearing masks like the Leaning Tower of Pisa or the pyramids or the Colosseum. And Bruce is just in a regular tux. He's looking good. Michael Keaton Shea's a handsome man. He's got them pouty lips. Pouty lips. And then Max comes over. He's like, Bruce Wayne, you graced us with your presence right here. What are you dressed up as? Let me guess. Ow, I understand. Prep school kid with a big trust fund. And he's like, listen, Max, I just want to tell you to your face, you're a piece of shit. Okay? I know that you backed Oswald Cobblepot and for your own ambitions. And it's all going to be exposed. And then Christopher Walken really goes, he stops for a beat, it's a pregnant pause, and goes, yawn, and just walks away. It's like, okay. And then there's a musical change. And Selina's walking down the stairs, and she's in this fucking gorgeous dress, sequins and everything. And Bruce is like, oh my God, you're so hot. She's like, I know, and you're so hot. I love your pouty lips. Let's dance. And they're doing this whole thing. They're going back and forth. And he's like, listen, things have been kind of crazy. I'm sorry. I'm dealing with that duality thing I told you about. She goes like, I'm going through the exact same thing too. He goes, okay, I get it. But she's like, there's just, I'm not only here for you, Bruce. I mean, I'm here for you, but I'm also here for Max. And he goes, oh, you're in love. You're in love with Max. She goes, in love with Max. No. Oh my God, no. And she lifts up her dress for her thigh where she has a fucking gun. She takes it out. She goes, no, I'm here to kill him. And he's like, whoa, what are you doing? She's like, you don't understand. He's a monster, Bruce. He's hurt so many people. He's hurt me. He's hurt women like me. He has to pay. And he's like, it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way, Selina. We can leave. We can get out of here. And then she looks up and she sees a mistletoe. And she goes, oh, a mistletoe. It's dangerous if you eat it. And Bruce looks at her and goes, yes. And a kiss is far more dangerous if you mean it. And they go, oh my God. She's like, you're Batman, you're Catwoman. And I do like this scene where they embrace each other, and she's like, and she starts crying, and she's like, do we start fighting? What do we do? Like, what do we do right now? And he's like, I don't know. I don't know what we do. We need to get out. Let's get some air. Let's talk. Let's just talk. And she's like, okay, we'll talk. And they leave, and then boom, these fucking party goers they'll explode chat. They're cadavers. There's meat. There's bone and cartilage just sprayed across all the rest of the denizens of the party. And we see this rubber ducky ascend. And Danny DeVito's Penguin's like, I didn't get invitation, so I decided to crash. And Christopher Walken's like, oh my God, it's Penguin. And he's like, yes, Gotham's best, the elite, the aristocracy. I just want to let you know that as you drink, as you fondle, as you fuck, my men are now going to the homes of your children, where they'll grab them, they'll stuff them in the back of my obnoxiously huge play train, and I'll bring them down to the sewers where I'll drown them all. And they're like, oh no. And he's like, I've come for one more. And by the way, we also see some of the Penguins in their war gear. They have their missiles on the back. It's like, what the fuck's going on there? Oh, it gets weirder. He waddles out, but I've come for one more, firstborn. He goes up the chip. Come here, you great white lug. And he's like, no. But then, I will say, Christopher Walken's Max Shrek, he's like, no, Penguin, don't take Chip. Please, whatever you do, take me. It's me you want. He's like, no. He's like, look into your heart. If you have any humanity, he's like, I don't, so fuck you. And he's like, please, I was the one who gave you friendship and trusted me with so many things, and I betrayed you. I stabbed you in the back. Take me instead of my son. And he's like, I think you make a good point. Fine, he fucking lives for now. You come with me in his place. And he puts Christopher Walken, the big rubber ducky, where the Penguins start pecking at him and shit. It's like, it's very weird. And eventually they lower down into the into the sewer, I guess, where he then puts Christopher Walken in a giant bird cage, and he then says his plan over again in case we forgot. Oh, Max, soon I shall drown all of Gotham's firstborn children in front of you, sons, daughters, in the very nuclear waste that comes from your factories. And then you will join them. And he has an umbrella with like a carousel of stuffed animals, and he starts dancing around. And it's like, Tim Burton, my God, what are you doing? We then cut to the train that he was referring to earlier. It's this giant fucking toy train that's literally going down Gotham streets. Where's the police? It was not. Is everyone at the gala? Everyone's at the gala. There's no police in the streets, and the fucking people are literally just going into homes, grabbing kids, and putting them in the back of the train, chap, which is being controlled by the monkey grinder guy. Batman thankfully arrives at the scene, beats the shit out of all the clowns, and gives the monkey a note. We then cut back to the Penguin's lair. Where he's still dancing. He's like acting like, this is how I'm gonna do it, Max. I'm gonna take him down this very narrow wooden bridge, right? Come with me, children. Let's have fun. And I'm gonna kick him over, and I'll hold down the ones that are too strong. But then all of a sudden, he sees the monkey, like it's holding something. It appears, and he's like, and the monkey comes down, and he waddles over to it. And the monkey hands him the note, and he takes it, and he opens it up. Penguin, the children of Gotham will not be joining you tonight. Sincerely, Batman. And then we do a close-up inside of his mouth, where it's all covered in black ooze. His teeth are rotting. It's like, I did not need that kind of transition. But we got it. And so he's like, fuck it. We'll go to plan B. I'll send out suicide bomber penguins to blow up the city. And so we then cut to a crowd scene of not his army, not his clown gang. No, a literal army of penguins with rocket propelled launchers on their backs and a targeting system on their heads. And he's like, penguins! You have raised me as one of your own. I owe you so much. But I need you to do this for me. The citizens of Gotham, they do not deserve us. Every child will die tonight. The male, female, the sexes are equal. We'll blow their erogenous zones sky high. He's going to blow up. He's going to blow up, as he describes it, chat, child genitalia. Who approved this dialogue in the movie? Who thought this was fun? This was a McDonald's toy. And the penguins go, yeah. I don't know how to do a penguin. Where they're like, and they're agreeing with him, I assume. They're like, fuck yeah, man, we're ride or die. He's like, some of you may die, but that is a sacrifice I'm willing to make. Yeah, we're gonna fucking die for Penguin Jesus. They leave. They leave. And they are converging on Gotham Plaza, chat. Meanwhile, Batman, he has gotten into the Batboat, and he is going down the sewer system of Gotham. He contacts Alfred and says, Alfred, you need to use your DJ hacking abilities to stop the Penguin army from blowing up Gotham City. And he's like, right away. Alfred then hacks into the Penguin targeting systems, and right before they're about to launch their missiles, and we hear the poodle lady, she's in charge of that process, and she says where the penguins are based on the trajectory of the missiles, okay, they will kill 100,000 people in Gotham, which is a fucking lie, because there's only 175 people that live in Gotham. But they say 100,000 people will die based on where the penguins are. But Alfred uses his DJ hacking abilities to stop that from happening, and he sends the penguins to a new location. And meanwhile, Batman is going down the sewer where two literal penguins with rocket launchers shoot missiles at him. He dodges them, and Michael Keaton he's me in this scene where he goes, were penguins just shooting at me with rocket launchers? And he continues down. His look is like all of us watching, what the fuck was that? And the penguins just look at him and like, oh, we missed. Eventually the poodle lady, she's like, the penguins are leaving the area. They're going to a new, and then he feels like, he's eating fish too. He's like, and then the poodle lady just leaves. And all the rest of the clown gang, the Red Triangle gang, they just fucking abandon him. They're like, oh, he's fucking coming. Batman's coming. And Penguin's like, and he gets in his giant rubber ducky car boat, and he then goes up these stairs to try to escape. Batman is somehow tracking the giant robot ducky boat car, and thankfully there's a tunnel right out to the side. He takes that. And as the penguin is trying to escape Arctic World, the bat boat shoots out and cuts the rubber ducky in half. And he goes, and he falls out of it. Batman gets out. He's looking for the penguin. And then Penguin fucking yeets himself on top of Batman. And he's like, you're just jealous. You have to wear a mask instead of being an all-natural freak like me. And it's like, no. But Batman flips the penguin over. And he goes, maybe. But I have this button. And Penguin's like, I want that button. I want that button so bad. Now, I don't know why. Like, Batman pulls out this button, this switch, and Penguin's like, I need to press that button. Nothing else is important. I want the button. And Batman's like, you sure you want to do that? Because then Danny DeVito starts looking around, and all the penguins, they move fucking quick, have converged around Arctic World. He's like, my babies. And he pulls out his umbrella, pulls out the sword, and he starts slashing the air and just whiffing each time, trying to get close. The Batman's just literally taking one step at a time, just backwards, until Penguin finally, he hits his umbrella sword on the ducky, breaks it, but then he bashes Batman's hand. He fucking falls over, grabs the button. He's like, got it. And he presses the button, which unleashes a swarm of bats from the Batmobile that then descend upon the penguin. Okay? And it also causes all the missiles on the penguins to also go off, and they start destroying Arctic World. The bats are all attacking Penguin. He's backing up until he falls through the canopy of the penguin enclosure into the toxic water below. Wow. Okay. We then cut to Max Schreck, who has somehow convinced the monkey to give me the keys to escape. He takes the keys to the monkey, opens his cage, tries to get out, but then Catwoman also arrives in the scene and whips his leg and pulls him into the water, which apparently does not affect him. She drags him out, and she starts beating the shit out of him. Eventually, Batman, he grapples all the way down there. Good shot. I like the grappling scene. He arrives there, and, he's like, fucking Catwoman, stop. And Max Schreck is like, Batman, you're here. You're not just saving a life. You're saving an honorable. And Batman just comes up to him, punches him, and says, shut up, you're going to jail, which is my favorite Batman line in anything. In any adaptation. I will say this movie's a lot of things, but it does have my favorite Batman line. And so he goes over to Selina, and she's like, he needs to fucking die, Batman. He needs to die for all the things he's done. He's like, you don't need to do this, okay? I don't want that for you. I want you, okay? We can be happy together. And he holds her and stuff. And she's like, what are you talking about? He's like, I can accept who I am. Can you accept who you are? And then we get this, it's this weird fucking cut. So you notice, and throughout all the movies, the actor who is Batman always has the makeup around his eyes, right? But for whatever reason, filmmakers and executives says they always say we can't have that makeup on the eyes. Batman doesn't wear makeup. And so he takes his mask off, or he rips it off, but we see before he does so, the eye makeup is gone, and it looks really fucking weird. But he rips off the rubber mask, revealing himself as this is who I am. I want to be with you. She starts crying. And then Max Schreck, who's watching all this, he goes, Bruce Wayne, why are you dressed up as Batman? And fucking Catwoman turns around. He is Batman, you moron. And then she takes off her own mask. And he's like, Selena Kyle, you're Catwoman. I mean, her costume was so ripped apart by that point. Very easy to tell that was Selena Kyle beforehand, but whatever. You're Catwoman? My God, I'll have to finish the job. Because he managed to, when he was in the water, he found the body of the fat clown that Penguin shot. And he grabbed his gun there. I guess it was a revolver, so it still works. And so he's like, well, it doesn't matter that anyone knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman because now he's dead. And he shoots Batman. And he's like, he falls over. And so he's like, no. And then fucking Christopher Walken starts shooting Michelle Pfeiffer. And she doesn't die because she has 9 lives. She's a cat, chat, and she's like 7, 8 girls are, or no, she's like 6, 7 girls go to heaven. And then she has the taser, and she's like, I think I'm gonna save one of the lives for next Christmas. And he's like, what are you gonna do? She's like, I'm gonna fucking kiss you, baby. Well, come on, lay a thick one on me. And she grabs an exposed wire over her head, puts it into his eyeball, and then puts the taser in her mouth and fucking open mouth kisses him. And Christopher Walken's like, he is electrocuted to death. And all this machinery falls down on top of them, and she leaves, I guess, at one point. Batman comes to. He got shot, but thankfully his armor blocked the bullet. That's some thick fucking rubber, chat. He goes over to the debris, starts taking all the debris off. Meanwhile, the Penguin is still alive, and it rises out of the water. A lot of black ooze is coming out of him, just... He's like waddling out and everything. The music playing is amazing, though. And he's going over to his umbrellas, just going... As Batman finally uncovers this last piece of debris where we see the burned corpse of Shrek going... He's fucking dead. And then he's like, oh, Jesus, gross. But then he hears the Penguin behind him, and he turns around right when the Penguin pulls out an umbrella, and he basically, he uncorks it, and it's the cute umbrella. He's like, shit, I picked the cute one. Give me a minute. I'll kill you in a second. It's really hot in here. I just need a cold glass of ice water. And he falls down dead. And then we get to maybe the weirdest scene in the movie. Because Batman, Michael Keaton, I can just imagine on set that day. He's probably reading the script, and he's like, the Penguin falls down dead after he pulls out an umbrella. He gives his last gasp. And a procession of penguins emerge from behind his throne and drag him to the sea. You have these giant fucking penguins come out of nowhere. It comes out of nowhere. And they take his body and they push him into the water where he then floats down to the bottom. And Michael Keaton's just watching this like, what the fuck? And then we cut. And it's the middle. We're driving down. Alfred's driving the fancy car, his fancy rich guy car for Bruce, going down the street. And Bruce, he spots a shadow in the alleyway. It looks like Catwoman. And he says, Alfred, stop the car, stop the car. He goes out. And he goes down the alleyway. There's nothing there, but he sees Miss Kitty. He sees Selena's cat right there. And he's like, purring and meowing against him and rubbing against him. He takes it, and he walks back to the car, and he sits down. And, Alfred's like, I'm sorry, Master Wayne, but I always want you to know I'll be there for you. And it also happens to be a good day. Merry Christmas. It's a Christmas movie. This is a Christmas movie. He says, Merry Christmas to you, sir. And Bruce looks at the cat, and he looks at Alfred, and he's like, Merry Christmas, Alfred. And then they drive down the street, as we ascend past all the skyscrapers, chat to the sky, where the where the bat signal goes up, and Catwoman rises, chat in the foreground, looking at the bat signal. And that, my friends, is my scene by scene by scene by scene breakdown to Batman Returns. Oh, the Penguins are like, rest in peace, Dad. Even though you use this weapon, it's just gonna kill him. I didn't get it first. The Penguin died. I guess it was the toxic waste. I guess it was the water that killed him. But he swam in that before. Very confusing. And then Batman turns into Val Kilmer. It's true. That's the last of this film, of those films I have to review, because I've done Batman and Robin. I've done 89 Batman. I've done Batman Returns, and now I got to do Forever. Rockabye thing with the 50 biddies. The Trash Man. This is the end of Always Sunny in Philadelphia, by the way. It's Always Sunny is a prequel to this. It's leading up to this, chat. We just don't know it yet. Oh, Harbor One, thank you for the 50 biddies. So, who had the most ridiculous plan in the 90s Batman films? Penguin, Riddler, Freeze, or Poison Ivy? I mean, I kind of get Poison Ivy's thing, like start an ice age and kill all humanity and let plants grow. It's like, okay, I get that's her MO. Mr. Freeze just wants his wife. He wants to get enough, diamonds and shit so he can continue his experiments. Joker's just kind of chaos. Penguin is the one where I think he has the craziest one. I mean, the fact that I want to take all the firstborn children of Gotham and drown them and kill them, or I'll blow Gotham up with a bunch of penguins with rocket launchers on their backs. I think I have to go with Penguin. I have to go with Penguin. Oh Lord. You turn the Bits audio off? No, it's been playing. No, it just played right there. Yeah. Nah, this Andy Vito hallucination when he was trapped in that coach. In the couch. Yes, exactly. Oh, my Lord. I actually understand Freeze and Ivy's plan, because she wants a new ice age, and then it'll wipe out humanity, and then plants will be born again, because all the ice is going to melt. So that's what it was. That was her plan. I get what she was trying to do. Oh, my Lord. But I hope you guys enjoyed that review, my friends. Am I here? Is it only me? Am I on? I'm not hearing audio. Testing. Can you guys hear me? I think it might be you, RD. Testing? Can you guys hear me right now? I think that might be you. But chat, I want to hear you fine? Cool. But, I got to get my rating. So, man, it's hard. Like, again, as I said before, there's a lot I like about this film. Production is really cool. The art direction's great. The costumes are really are amazing. I love the aesthetic of the movie. Gotham Winter is always cool to me. But, man, the dialogue, it goes back and forth. You get whiplash. Oh, it's good, it's awful. It's good, it's awful. The motivations are weird. There's a shit ton of plot holes throughout the entire movie. But it's fun. I don't know. I'm kind of like, I don't think this is as good as the original Batman 89 film. But it's not bad. I think I'm somewhere between like a high rental and like a low matinee. I think that's where I'm at right now with this film, chat. High rental and low matinee. A lot to enjoy, but very flawed movie. But Batman is a maniac killing people.